एसोसिएशन के प्रेसिडेंट सुरेश गुप्ता है, आप भी बैन की मांग किया है, क्या डिमांड किया है आपने?
सरदार जी 3 मूवी, दिलजीत सिंह इसमें, दिलजीत दोसांज इसमें प्रोड्यूसर है, साथ ही एक्टर और सिंगर है। हाल ही में पहलगाम टेररिस्ट अटैक पाकिस्तान ने करवाया, जिसमें 26 मासूमों ने अपनी जान गंवाई। उन्हें धर्म पूछ के मारा गया। भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच में युद्ध छिड़ गया, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर हुआ, और ये हानिया आमिर, इसके साथ कई पाकिस्तानी कलाकारों ने भारत के खिलाफ में अशब्द का इस्तेमाल किया। उसके बाद भी दिलजीत इस पिक्चर को रिलीज़ करने के लिए पीछे नहीं हट रहे। उनका कहना है, हाल ही में उनका इंटरव्यू हुआ, उनका कहना है कि हमारा बहुत पैसे का लॉस हो जाएगा। एक तरफ भारत पूरी नदियों का पानी रोक रहा था, सब जगह बड़े बड़े ठोस कदम उठा रहे थे, पूरी 140 करोड़ की जनता के साथ विपक्ष, सरकार, हर पब्लिक आज सरकार के साथ खड़ी थी। लेकिन भारत में जो पहला व्यक्ति है जो भारत के खिलाफ में जा रहा है, दिलजीत, इसलिए हमने पूरा प्रतिबंध किया है पूरे भारतीय फिल्म इंडस्ट्री से, बॉलीवुड से लेके पूरे भारतीय फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में इसे बॉयकॉट कर दिया, उसे प्रतिबंध लगा दिया। भविष्य में कोई भी इनके साथ ना काम करेगा, ना कोई इनको काम देगा, कोई भी वर्कर्स आज इनके काम करने को तैयार नहीं। और साथ ही हमने भारत के प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को एक पत्र भी लिखा है। आज ही हमने एक पत्र लिखा है, ये हम जस्ट आज हमने कुरियर भी कर दिया उन्हें, और ईमेल द्वारा भी भेजा है, सारे सोशल मीडिया जरिए से भी इनमें पहुंच गया है। हमने 5 मुद्दे रखे उनके ऊपर, इनके कोई भी भारत में लाइव कॉन्सर्ट इनका होने ना दे, प्रतिबंध लगा दिया जाए, भारत सरकार होने ना दे। इनके सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट जो भारत में, सभी पर प्रतिबंध लगा दिया जाए।
All right, so that was the All Indian Cine Workers Association also writing a letter to PM Modi raising strong objections to actor singer Diljit Dosanjh over the casting of Pakistani actress Hania Amir in his upcoming movie Sardar Ji 3. At the same time, many other federations, the Federation of Western India Cine Employees has also strongly slammed actor singer Diljit Dosanjh and the makers of Sardar Ji 3 for casting Pakistani actress Hania Amir. Okay, so we're getting many reactions coming in right now, viewers. We'll have to move ahead from the story, but we're getting some more updates. Some breaking update coming in right now. This is regarding the Air India flight. Status report on the recovery examination of data from black boxes of Air India flight. Air India AI 171 India as a signatory to the ICAO Chicago Convention 1944 investigates aircraft accidents in accordance with the ICAO Annex 13 and the Aircraft Investigation of Accidents and Incidents Rules 2017. The Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, AAIB, is the designated authority for such investigations. Following the unfortunate accident involving Air India flight Air India 171, the AAIB promptly initiated an investigation and constituted a multidisciplinary team on 13th June 2025. In line with prescribed norms, the team, constituted as per international protocol, is led by the DG AAIB and includes an aviation medicine specialist, an ATC officer, and representatives from the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, which is government investigative agency from the state of manufacture and design in the USA as required for such investigation. So what we are telling you right now, viewers, is that the black box data is being analyzed in a Delhi lab right now as we speak, viewers. This is very, very important because the black box data will really help the investigative agencies to understand what really went wrong. The Air India crash black box is being examined, and this is one of the top updates we're getting for you as the investigation continues in this case. We have to move ahead right now, viewers. We're getting some more updates coming in. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has once again raked up the language debate. He stated that every language is the soul of a country and Hindi is not against any language. Back-to-back is coming in right now on Republic TV, viewers, where we see Amit Shah speaking about languages, language row, where we see Amit Shah saying that there's no opposition to any language. Hindi is not against any other language. Back-to-back is coming in here, Republic TV viewers, and this is coming in the backdrop of the language row that we have been seeing in multiple states. And let's go ahead and play out that statement.
मित्रों, इसके साथ साथ भारतीय भाषा अनुभाग इसी साल राजभाषा विभाग के स्वर्ण जयंती के वर्ष में ही हमने भारतीय भाषा अनुभाग उसकी स्थापना की। क्योंकि मैं मन से मानता हूं कि हिंदी किसी भी भारतीय भाषा की विरोधी हो नहीं सकती। हिंदी सभी भारतीय भाषाओं की सखी है और हिंदी और भारतीय भाषा मिलकर ही हमारे आत्मगौरव का उत्थान का जो एक कार्यक्रम है भाषा के माध्यम से, उसको अंतिम लक्ष्य तक ले जा सकते हैं।
And viewers, getting you some updates coming in right now. Pakistan spy Vishal Yadav produced in district court in Jaipur. Vishal was arrested. Remember, charges of sharing sensitive information, defense information with Pakistani handlers during Operation Sindoor. A civilian clerk working at the naval headquarters in Delhi has been arrested by Rajasthan Police's intelligence wing for allegedly sharing confidential defense information with Pakistan's intelligence agency. ISI during Operation Sindoor, authorities have informed that he shared the information with a Pakistani woman posing as Priya Sharma on social media. All right, the information was reportedly passed in exchange for money over a long period, including during Operation Sindoor. And I want to go straight across to my colleague who's joining us right now. We have with us Soumya joining us live. Soumya, you know, this spy, a Navy staffer, was being tracked very, very closely by the intelligence unit, by the police. And then finally, when there was enough evidence against him, he was arrested. But we're coming to know about his modus operandi as well, Soumya. If you could just take our viewers through what we're learning of.
Yes, well, the latest development in the case has been that this particular individual, who happens to be employed at the Directorate of Dockyards here in the Navy headquarters in the national capital, was a few hours back produced at the Sessions, District and Sessions Court there in Jaipur, wherein the judgment said that remand has been given to the Rajasthan Intelligence Unit until 30th June, wherein he will be interrogated by multiple security agencies. So was the case from last night when he was arrested. The arrest was made here in the national capital. The arrest was made by the Rajasthan Police's intelligence unit. Right from there, he was taken to Jaipur. From there, the interrogation picked up and started in the central interrogation center in Jaipur. Multiple agencies, NIA, Central IB and military intelligence together took this interrogation forward. So these are the details that we are picking up with regards to Vishal Yadav's case at the moment. Now, this particular individual came in contact with an ISI handler, this woman who posed as Priya Sharma on social media. Certain strategically important information were shared between the two in exchange of favors, monetary favors, wherein money was transferred either to his bank account or his cryptocurrency trading account. Back to you.
That's right, Soumya. Thank you for getting those details. I'll be coming back to you. We see that this Navy staffer has been sent to police custody till June 30th. And we are getting some updates coming in. It's a significant operation. The UP police has arrested a rape accused in the Bayraj district after a brief encounter. The accused, identified as 22-year-old Ajmer, allegedly raped a 13-year-old girl in the Pachpakari village and was attempting to flee to Nepal. Take a look.
Uttar Pradesh police is dismantling the criminal network in the state to end crime. The police has now adopted a fierce form. The latest case is from Bahraj district, where when the police tried to surround and nab the accused of raping a minor, the accused opened fire on the police team. In the retaliatory action of the police, the accused was shot in the leg, after which he was arrested and sent for treatment. A youth named Ajmer allegedly raped a 13-year-old minor in Pachpakri village of Rupaida area and was trying to escape to Nepal.
अभी थोड़ी देर पहले मुखबिर के द्वारा सूचना प्राप्त हुई कि अभियुक्त अजमेर नेपाल बॉर्डर के रास्ते नेपाल में जाने की फिराक में है। उक्त सूचना पर क्राइम ब्रांच की स्वाट टीम और थाना रुपईडीहा की पुलिस टीम ने संयुक्त रूप से नेपाल बॉर्डर पर स्थित पचपकड़ी गांव के पास में उक्त अभियुक्त की घेराबंदी की अभियुक्त को रोकने का जब पुलिस टीम ने प्रयास किया तो अभियुक्त ने जानलेवा हमले की नीयत से पुलिस टीम पर फायर कर दिया, जिसमें जवाबी कार्रवाई में पुलिस टीम द्वारा की गई फायरिंग में अभियुक्त अजमेर के दाहिने पैर में गोली लगी। उसे हॉस्पिटल इलाज हेतु भेजा गया है। अभियुक्त के पास से एक अदद देसी तमंचा 315 बोर, एक मोबाइल और एक कारतूस बरामद हुआ है। इसमें आगे की कार्रवाई हम लोग कर रहे हैं।
The police tried to catch the accused late at night. After registering a case on the complaint of the father of the victim, he opened fire on the team of police. However, in retaliatory action, the police has arrested the accused by shooting him in the leg and have started the legal proceedings.
The news getting so much more coming up. Axiom mission force crew is all scheduled to dock with the International Space Station at the Harmony Module space facing port today, and this will happen at 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Last Defence Minister Rajnath Singh refused to sign the SCO document as he attempted to remove Pahalgham and include Balochistan. No joint statement to be released. Stay tuned, viewers. We are live in breaking.
Each night on prime time, we don't just bring you the news. We lead it with responsibility, asking the toughest questions, breaking the biggest stories, setting the national agenda. At the Republic School of Journalism, you learn how to front the news with clarity, confidence, and conviction. The RSJ Diploma program begins on the 30th of June. Your prime time starts here.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
विमल में गुलिस्तां के ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुलें तो जी लग जाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की जुबान में खुद को ऐसे डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं? विमल, बोलो जुबान कैसी?
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
We must return to the negotiating table, and for that, allow IAEA inspectors, the guardians on our behalf of the NPT, to go back to Iran's nuclear sites and account for the stockpiles of uranium, including, most importantly, the 400 kilograms enriched to 60%.
Do you have 100% confidence that Iran's nuclear sites were totally destroyed?
Well, Kristen, I'm not going to get into sensitive intelligence about what we've seen on the ground there in Iran, but we've seen a lot, and I feel very confident that we have substantially delayed their development of a nuclear weapon, and that was the goal of this attack. That's why it was a success. And of course, what happens next, again, Kristen, is
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप
विमल में गुलिस्तां की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबां में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबां केसरी।
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
We must return to the negotiating table, and for that, allow IAEA inspectors, the guardians on our behalf of the NPT, to go back to Iran's nuclear sites and account for the stockpiles of uranium, including, most importantly, the 400 kilograms enriched to 60%.
Do you have 100% confidence that Iran's nuclear sites were totally destroyed?
Well, Kristen, I'm not going to get into sensitive intelligence about what we've seen on the ground there in Iran, but we've seen a lot, and I feel very confident that we have substantially delayed their development of a nuclear weapon, and that was the goal of this attack. That's why it was a success. And of course, what happens next, again, Kristen, is up to the Iranians.
Substantially delayed by years? What does
Well,
substantial
again, Kristen,
mean?
I'm not going to get into sensitive intelligence here, but I think that we have really pushed their program back by a very long time. I think that it's going to be many, many years before the Iranians are able to develop a nuclear weapon.
ואחר כך לציבור. זו החובה שלנו. אני יכול לומר כאן שהערכה היא
And it's going to come out. Israel is doing a report on it now, I understand. And I was told that they said it was total obliteration. You know, they have guys that go in there after the hit, and they said it was total obliteration. Yeah, well, they said it was actually, the report said it could have been they don't know. I mean, they did a report. I could have Pete talk to it because his department did the report. They really don't know. I think Israel's going to be telling us very soon because Bibi is going to have people involved in that whole situation. We hear it was obliteration. It was a virtual obliteration. When you take a look at the ground above, don't forget, the flame is all underground. But everything above, if you look at the before and the after picture, everything above is burned black.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Good afternoon. At Republic Media Network, we celebrate the dreams of those who rise to grow, build and lead. Building Bharat, the real estate, real impact. Republic Media Network's inaugural real estate conclave on 27th of June celebrates the future of India's urban transformation.
प्राउड फील कर रहा हूँ और जब हम लॉन्च कर रहे थे तो मेरे स्पेस सूट पे तिरंगा मेरे शोल्डर्स पे था जो मुझे कहीं ना कहीं ये याद दिला रहा था कि मैं अकेले ये जर्नी नहीं अंडरटेक कर रहा हूँ बल्कि आप सब मेरे साथ हैं.
The AX4 crew sends a message from space. India's pride, Shubhanshu Shukla says, I am not alone. All Indians are with me on this mission. Axiom Mission 4's crews are scheduled to dock with the International Space Station at the Harmony Module Space facing port today at approximately 4:30 p.m. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh refused to sign the SCO document as it attempted to remove Pahalgham and include Balochistan. No joint statement to be released.
Excellency, peace and prosperity cannot coexist with terrorism and the proliferation of weapons of the mass destruction in the hands of the non-state actors and the terror groups.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh addresses the SCO defence meet, says terror and peace cannot coexist. Hails Operation Sindoor at the International Forum. Massive furore over Bollywood actor Diljit Dosanjh's movie with Pakistani actress. All India Cine Workers Association calls for complete boycott. And a Navy staffer arrested by the intelligence wing of Rajasthan police on charges of spying for Pakistan sent to police custody till 30th of June. And viewers, we have breaking news at the top of 2 right now. The All India Cine Workers Association has formally written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, raising strong objections to actor-singer Diljit Dosanjh over the casting of Pakistani actress Hania Amir in his upcoming film Sardar Ji 3. Now, President of the Cine Workers Association stated that no worker of All India Cine Workers Association will work with this Diljit Dosanjh anymore. So, big statement coming in from the All India Cine Workers Association. They have written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. They have raised strong objections to Diljit Dosanjh regarding the casting of a Pakistani actress in his upcoming film. And they have written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well.
हमारे साथ ऑल इंडिया सिने वर्कर एसोसिएशन के प्रेसिडेंट सुरेश गुप्ता हैं। आप भी बैन की मांग किया है, क्या डिमांड किया है आपने?
सरदार जी 3 मूवी, दिलजीत सिंह इसमें, दिलजीत दोसांज इसमें प्रोड्यूसर है, साथ ही एक्टर और सिंगर है। हाल ही में पहलगाम टेररिस्ट अटैक पाकिस्तान ने करवाया, जिसमें 26 मासूमों ने अपनी जान गंवाई। उन्हें धर्म पूछ के मारा गया। भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच में युद्ध छिड़ गया, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर हुआ और ये हानिया आमिर, इसके साथ कई पाकिस्तानी कलाकारों ने भारत के खिलाफ में अशब्द का इस्तेमाल किया। उसके बाद भी दिलजीत इस पिक्चर को रिलीज़ करने के लिए पीछे नहीं हट रहे। उनका कहना है, हाल ही में उनका इंटरव्यू हुआ, उनका कहना है कि हमारा बहुत पैसे का लॉस हो जाएगा। एक तरफ भारत पूरी नदियों का पानी रोक रहा था, सब जगह बड़े बड़े ठोस कदम उठा रहे थे। पूरी 140 करोड़ की जनता के साथ विपक्ष, सरकार, हर पब्लिक आज सरकार के साथ खड़ी थी। लेकिन भारत में जो पहला व्यक्ति है जो भारत के खिलाफ में जा रहा है, दिलजीत, इसलिए हमने पूरा प्रतिबंध किया है। पूरे भारतीय फिल्म इंडस्ट्री से, बॉलीवुड से लेके पूरे भारतीय फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में इसे बॉयकॉट कर दिया, उसे प्रतिबंध लगा दिया। भविष्य में कोई भी इनके साथ ना काम करेगा, ना कोई इनको काम देगा। कोई भी वर्कर्स आज इनके काम करने को तैयार नहीं। और साथ ही हमने भारत के प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को एक पत्र भी लिखा है। आज ही हमने एक पत्र लिखा है, ये हम जस्ट आज हमने कुरियर भी कर दिया उन्हें और ईमेल द्वारा भी भेजा है। सारे सोशल मीडिया जरिए से भी इनमें पहुंच गया है। हमने 5 मुद्दे रखे उनके ऊपर। इनके कोई भी भारत में लाइव कॉन्सर्ट इनका होने ना दे, प्रतिबंध लगा दिया जाए, भारत सरकार होने ना दे। इनके सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट जो भारत में, सभी पर प्रतिबंध लगा दिया जाए।
All right, so big backlash being seen towards the makers of Sardar Ji 3 for casting Pakistani actress Hania Amir in the film. And there's a big question mark over the theatrical release of the film, especially in India. And earlier, an Instagram post shared by the movie theatre Cine Gold Complex, Sardar Ji 3, it said, is going to be released in the country on Friday. But big reactions are really coming in, and the movie is facing backlash. Diljit Dosanjh's movie is facing big backlash over the casting of a Pakistani actress. And on to the other big story that we are tracking today. Indian Air Force Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is all set to make a history today as he leads the Axiom 4 mission to dock at the International Space Station. Well, after launching into orbit on 25th of June aboard SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft powered by Falcon 9 rocket from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, Shukla and his international crew are preparing for their autonomous docking with the orbiting laboratory at around 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. As the pilot of the mission, Shukla will play a key role in monitoring the trajectory, orbital parameters and the movement of the space station as a Dragon prepares to dock. And here is the Axiom 4 crew's message from space that was sent a short while back.
एक छोटा सा संदेश मेरे सारे देशवासियों के लिए। कुछ ही देर कल 1 महीने क्वारंटीन में रहने के बाद कल हम लोग लॉन्च पैड 39 से लॉन्च हुए, जहां से पहली मून लैंडिंग, जहां से अपोलो 11 मिशन भी लॉन्च हुआ था। और इस समय स्पेस में बहुत ही ज़्यादा उत्साह और बहुत ही ज़्यादा प्राउड फील कर रहा हूँ। और जब हम लॉन्च कर रहे थे तो मेरे स्पेस सूट पे तिरंगा मेरे शोल्डर्स पे था, जो मुझे कहीं ना कहीं ये याद दिला रहा था कि मैं अकेले ये जर्नी नहीं अंडरटेक कर रहा हूँ, बल्कि आप सब मेरे साथ हैं और इस जर्नी का एक हिस्सा हैं। तो ये ISS तक जाने के लिए मेरी एक जर्नी की शुरुआत है एक तरह से। अभी हम लोग कुछ ही घंटों में ISS में डॉक करेंगे और फिर हम इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन पे जाके रहेंगे। बट कहीं ना कहीं ये भी दर्शाता है कि ये भारत के ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की एक छोटा सा स्टेप पर एक बहुत सॉलिड और स्टेडी स्टेप है उस डायरेक्शन में जिस तरफ हम जा रहे हैं गगनयान जैसे मिशन को लेके। तो मैं चाहता हूं कि आप सब मेरी इस जर्नी का हिस्सा बने, आप भी उतना ही प्राउड फील करें जितना मैं फील कर रहा हूं, बिकॉज ये सब हमारे केवल टेक्निकल एकम्प्लिशमेंट को नहीं दर्शाता है, बल्कि हमारे ये होप्स या हमारे एम्बिशंस या हमारी एस्पिरेशंस को दर्शाता है कि हम किस तरफ जाना चाहते हैं। तो आइए मेरे साथ इस जर्नी का हिस्सा बनिए। मेरी पूरी कोशिश रहेगी कि अगले 14 दिनों में मेरा जो मिशन एकम्प्लिशमेंट है, जो टास्क है, वो तो मैं अचीव करूँ ही, बट ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस एक्सपीरियंस को मैं किस तरह से अपनी फ़ोटोज़ और वीडियोज़ में कैप्चर करूँ ताकि मैं वापस आके आप लोगों के साथ इसे शेयर कर सकूँ। मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप मेरे थ्रू ये जर्नी एक्सपीरियंस करें और इसका हिस्सा बने। एंड चलिए अगले 14 दिन को एक्साइटिंग बनाते हैं और साथ में स्पेस में रहते हैं। I'm thrilled to be here with my fellow astronauts, as Peggy said, 1 veteran and 3 rookies, and wow, what a ride it was. Frankly, when I was sitting in the capsule in Grace yesterday on the launch pad, my only thought in my mind was that let's just go. After 30 days of quarantine, it was a feeling that I just wanted to go. You know, the excitement and all was, you know, probably far away. It was just the feeling that let's just leave here. But when the ride started, it was something like you getting pushed back into the seat. It was an amazing ride. And then suddenly, nothing. Everything silenced, and you were just floating. You unbuckle, and you were just floating in the silence of vacuum. It was an amazing feeling. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has been a part of this. I understand that this is not a personal accomplishment. It is a collective achievement of each and every one of you who has been a part of this journey, and to make this possible, I really want to thank each one of you. Also to family and friends, you know, your support has mattered so much. This is so much because of all of you guys. We showed you joy and grace. You know, this is swan, a great symbol. It looks really cute, but we have a very important swan in our Indian culture, which we are about. Swan symbolizes wisdom. It also has the ability to discern it's to be focused on and what does not. So basically, the golden age of distraction, I would say. So this means a lot more, not just a zero-G indicator for us. And I think that we all have symbolism in Poland and in Hungary, in India as well. So I think this looks like a coincidence, but it is not. That it has more meaning than what we are attaching it to it. The capsule itself, Grace, has been very kind. I was not feeling very great when we, you know, got shot into the vacuum. But since yesterday, I've been told that I've been sleeping a lot, which is a good sign. So I think that's a great sign. I'm getting used to this quite well, enjoying the views, enjoying the entire experience, learning like a baby, you know, learning the new steps, learning how to walk, learning how to control yourself, everything, learning how to eat, I think. So it's a new environment, new challenge, and I'm really enjoying this experience with my fellow astronauts here. And it's good to make mistakes, but it's better to see somebody else do that too. So it has been a fun time up here. That is all I have to say. Thank you so much, guys, for making this happen, and I'm sure that we are going to have a great time.
All right, so let's try to understand from our guests as to how really this docking is going to take place. We are right now joined in by Dr. Surendra Pal, a former director ISRO. We are also joined in by Dr. B.R. Guru Prasad, the former ISRO scientist. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us here on Republic TV. If I could come to you first, Dr. Guru Prasad, we heard there Shubhanshu Shukla's message from the space, and he was really, really excited. And we all Indians are also sharing his excitement. But can you just walk us through about the docking sequence of Axiom 4 with the ISS? So what are the key steps and also the systems involved?
Thank you very much. Namaskar. The thing is now Shubhanshu Shukla and Peggy Whitson, Slavoj Wisniewski and Tibor Kapo, all these four people, they are circling the earth at a tremendous speed of 28,000 kilometers per hour. Mind-boggling, isn't it? In fact, it is 1,000 times the average speed with which we move in Delhi, Mumbai or Bangalore, in fact. Okay, 1,000 times the average speed. And now it is circling the earth independently, their spacecraft, the Crew Dragon, and it is taking only 1.5 hours to circle the earth once. We have to remember this. Now, this is in an orbit which is somewhat relatively nearer to the orbit of International Space Station. But still, they are quite away from each other. And the steps involved are, first of all, they have to rendezvous with each other. Rendezvous means meeting in orbit. Okay, what they have to do is, they have to, actually International Space Station is a very big spacecraft of the size of a large one football field size. And the internal volume is more than 6-bedroom house, in fact. That will be, okay, it is a passive thing. Okay, it is the target. And the Axiom's, the SpaceX's Crew Dragon capsule in which Shubhanshu Shukla and 3 other people are sitting, that will be the chaser. It chases the International Space Station. It approaches carefully, and as it nears it very, very carefully, it proceeds to the vicinity of International Space Station. And International Space Station is built from different modules from between 1998 and 2012. It was built, and one of the modules of the International Space Station is called as Harmony. Okay, that Harmony is the one to which this Crew Dragon spacecraft is going to approach and dock very, very carefully. That is, first it will rendezvous, and then it will attach itself to the Harmony module. That engineers call it as docking, in fact. That docking has to be a hard docking in the sense both the spacecraft have to join together, and there will not be any room for even leakage of air, even in minute quantities. So it would be airtight. So after that, this is going to happen roughly around 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time today.
Right.
After that, for about 2 hours, a lot of observations will be done, and after ascertaining everything is fine, the hatch will be opened, the door, the front door. Okay, as the spacecraft was sitting on the launch pad, it was in the top. Okay, that hatch will be opened, and Shubhanshu Shukla and 3 other people will enter the International Space Station, in which already 7 astronauts are living. 3 of them are American, 1 is from Japan, and the other 3 are Russians. So totally 7 plus these 4, 11 people will be there from this evening onwards in the International Space Station. And in the next 14 days, they are going to do lots and lots of experiments. There won't be any time. No. So everything is closely rehearsed, and that is what is going to happen. That is what is going to be exciting. That is what Shubhanshu Shukla said. And I'm really indeed glad that he said that he has carried 140 crores with him, and the Tiranga is there on his shoulder patch.
Right.
Yes, it was so emotional. It is a matter of pride for all Indians. Thank you.
Right, sir. Indeed, everybody is really excited, and that talk about the Tiranga was really uplifting as well. I would like to ask a question to Dr. Pal as well. Dr. Pal, could you explain how the lessons really that this mission like Axiom 4 can actually help ISRO in advancing missions like a Gaganyaan mission as well as future Indian crewed flights as well, space flights as well. And how does it really help in India from a strategic point of view, learning from such commercial partnerships?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, Dr. Guru Prasad, my friend, has talked about how the rendezvous is going to take place, how the docking takes place. So in that one final moments when it reaches, see that relative velocity between the Harmony or ISS and Dragon has to be very small. It's of the order of centimeters Okay, that sort of thing. And then there are sensors, like from 100 meters onwards, a lot of sensors, particularly the laser sensors, will start working. Orientation will be properly adjusted, and there will be a proper navigation, and the soft rendezvous will take place. So this experience of aligning, navigating, etc., will be quite useful when in the future, even for Gaganyaan also. Another thing is that the G levels, which during the launch the astronauts have felt it, that sort of experience you don't get it. So that G level, how to manage, what will be the physical conditions, what will be the medical conditions, all those things should be noted and seen, and those things will be transferred. Now, the biggest thing which you asked me, what will be the impact of this one? You see, during this process, although it's a commercial venture, we are paying 550 crores for this one, but both the persons, Group Captain Shukla and Group Captain Nair, who is a standby, they have undergone total training. That procedures have been explained to them. They know the procedures. So, and they also, there is a big team of ISRO scientists there, which will include the mission operations. The medical team is also there. And what you can't see with the documents supplied, with documents supplied and reality, when you check it, the experience is something else. So all this will be useful for Gaganyaan mission. And now coming to what will be the further impact of this one, when we see like a rendezvous, we have done it in the space back experiment, we have done it, but it's on a smaller scale. On larger scale, it's being done here. So that will be useful for the future when we go to the Chandrayaan, etc. So in my opinion, as a technologist, I feel the procedures, the mission operations, and what should be done after the astronaut, when the astronauts launch, what sort of medical thing is there after the launch. So our persons are there. Back end team which is available there, that also gets experienced, that also gets trained. And the documents, the training, etc. Total thing is quite voluminous, and it will be very helpful to us for our Gaganyaan mission. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much to both of you gentlemen, and we all are very, very excited. The nation is waiting with bated breath, because on successful docking, Shukla will become the first Indian to visit the NASA's orbiting laboratory, and only the second Indian to travel to space. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for all those updates there. And the docking process is expected to mark the start of a 14-day mission, during which the Axiom 4 crew will carry out around 60 experiments regarding microgravity, with the Shubhanshu Shukla performing around 7 experiments. The historic event can be watched live via NASA's official YouTube channel as well. Following a successful docking, the crew will conduct extensive research, furthering our understanding of microgravity and its applications. Here's a report.
The SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launched itself into history on Wednesday as it put only the second Indian, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, into space. The Falcon 9, carrying the Dragon spacecraft, blasted off from the launch complex at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida for a 15-day mission at the International Space Station. In what will be a proud moment for India, Group Captain Shukla, along with mission head Peggy Whitson and fellow crewmates Slavoj Uznansky-Wisniewski and Tibor Kapu, will dock at the International Space Station in a few hours from now. Over the course of its fortnight-long stay up in space, the Axiom 4 crew would conduct scientific research and technological demonstrations. Group Captain Shukla and his fellow cosmonauts will also indulge in educational outreach. The crew will also work to advance Axiom Space's eventual goal to build the world's first commercial space station. For India, Group Captain Shukla's 15-day vigil aboard the Dragon spacecraft sets the stage for its inaugural manned space mission, Gaganyaan.
Time time to take a short break. Coming up ahead, Navy staffer has been arrested by the intelligence wing of the Rajasthan police on charges of spying for Pakistan. Sent to police custody till 30th of June. Also, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh refused to sign the SCO document as it attempted to remove Pahalgham and include Balochistan. No joint statement to be issued. Details on those big stories and much more coming up ahead. Stay tuned.
Seen what it takes to report from the front lines. Accuracy, urgency, courage and responsibility. At Republic School of Journalism, you will be trained for that reality. It's not theory, it's a live learning inside a working newsroom from day one. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, RSJ is where you begin. Courses begin on June 30th. Apply now.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
We must return to the negotiating table. And for that, allow IAEA inspectors, the guardians on behalf of the NPT, to go back to Iran's nuclear sites and account for the stockpiles of uranium, including, most importantly, the 400 kilograms enriched to 60%.
Do you have 100% confidence that Iran's nuclear sites were totally destroyed?
Well, Kristen, I'm not going to get into sensitive intelligence about what we've seen on the ground there in Iran, but we've seen a lot, and I feel very confident that we have substantially delayed their development of a nuclear weapon, and that was the goal of this attack. That's why it was a success. And of course, what happens next, again, Kristen, is up to the Iranians.
Substantially delayed by years? What does substantially
Well, again, Kristen, I'm not going to get into sensitive intelligence here, but I think that we have really pushed their program back by a very long time. I think that it's going to be many, many years before the Iranians are able to develop a nuclear weapon.
ואחר כך לציבור. זו החובה שלנו. אני יכול לומר כאן שהערכה היא
about your first solo stage performance? How old were you?
I don't know how you got this picture. I was 6 years old, wearing topi and cap.
Yeah.
And I was pushed on the stage.
Who was there with you?
He was a fun patron of music, and he was a political figure of Gwalior. So that was my
Was your father there?
My father was not there, and he sent me. So this is the confidence that
You were 6 years old?
This is the Indian gurus. They have so much confidence, and it was a part of my training, how to face the stage, how to face the audience, and what to do on the stage. So it's an educational situation. It's an educational journey.
Very good afternoon. You're watching live and breaking on Republic TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. The top story that we are tracking is the backlash that has been received for Diljit Dosanjh's movie Sardar Ji 3 because it features a Pakistani actress. That is the big story that we are tracking at the top of this hour. Let's take a look at the headlines for others as well.
बहुत ही ज़्यादा प्राउड फील कर रहा हूँ और जब हम लॉन्च कर रहे थे तो मेरे स्पेस सूट पे तिरंगा मेरे शोल्डर्स पे था, जो मुझे कहीं ना कहीं ये याद दिला रहा था कि मैं अकेले ये जर्नी नहीं अंडरटेक कर रहा हूँ, बल्कि आप सब मेरे साथ हैं।
Historic the AX-4 crew sends a message from space. India's pride. Subhanshu Shukla says, "I am not alone. All Indians are with me on this mission." Big breakthrough in Ahmedabad plane crash probe, but data downloaded from the black boxes. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh refused to sign the SCO document as it attempted to remove Pahalgham and include Balochistan. No joint statement to be released. Amarnath Yatra security alert as encounter erupts in Udhampur's Basantgarh district. Massive furore over Bollywood actor Diljit Dosanjh's movie with a Pakistani actress. All India Cine Workers Association calls for a complete boycott. And Navy staffer arrested by the intelligence wing of Rajasthan police on the charges of spying for Pakistan, sent to police custody till 30th of June.
All right, viewers, so the backlash against Diljit Dosanjh is only getting louder and louder. In the latest, we have the Federation of Cine Workers Association, also All India Cine Workers Association now calling for a ban on Diljit Dosanjh. In fact, the All India Cine Workers Association has formally written a red letter to the Prime Minister raising strong objections to actor-singer Diljit Dosanjh over the casting of Pakistani actress Hania Amir in his upcoming film Sardar Ji 3. They have said that no worker of All India Cine Workers Association will work with Diljit Dosanjh. So there are calls for boycott of Diljit Dosanjh from the in Western India Cine Workers Association Federation. Now it is the AICWA, the All India Cine Workers Association, writing to the Prime Minister as this film with Hania Amir, starring Diljit Dosanjh, who's from India, and Hania Amir's controversial statement calling India cowardly, calling India's brave hearts, our soldiers, cowardly after the Pahalgham attack during Operation Sindoor is now under scanner. This film, remember, is releasing in Pakistan. And of course, the Pakistani actors are banned in India, and there is no response as far as there's no reaction from Diljit Dosanjh yet. He has spoken to an international channel where he says that this casting was done earlier before the Pahalgham attack.
हमारे साथ ऑल इंडिया सिने वर्कर एसोसिएशन के प्रेसिडेंट सुरेश गुप्ता हैं। आप भी बैन की मांग किया है, क्या डिमांड किया है आपने?
सरदार जी 3 मूवी, दिलजीत सिंह इसमें, दिलजीत दोसांज इसमें प्रोड्यूसर है, साथ ही एक्टर और सिंगर है। हाल ही में पहलगाम टेररिस्ट अटैक पाकिस्तान ने करवाया जिसमें 26 मासूमों ने अपनी जान गंवाई। उन्हें धर्म पूछ के मारा गया। भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच में युद्ध छिड़ गया, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर हुआ और ये हानिया आमिर, इसके साथ कई पाकिस्तानी कलाकारों ने भारत के खिलाफ में अशब्द का इस्तेमाल किया। उसके बाद भी दिलजीत इस पिक्चर को रिलीज करने के लिए पीछे नहीं हट रहे। उनका कहना है, हाल ही में उनका इंटरव्यू हुआ, उनका कहना है कि हमारा बहुत पैसे का लॉस हो जाएगा। एक तरफ भारत पूरी नदियों का पानी रोक रहा था, सब जगह बड़े बड़े ठोस कदम उठा रहे थे। पूरी 140 करोड़ की जनता के साथ विपक्ष, सरकार, हर पब्लिक आज सरकार के साथ खड़ी थी, लेकिन भारत में जो पहला व्यक्ति है जो भारत के खिलाफ में जा रहा है, दिलजीत, इसलिए हमने पूरा प्रतिबंध किया है। पूरे भारतीय फिल्म इंडस्ट्री से, बॉलीवुड से लेके पूरे भारतीय फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में इसे बॉयकॉट कर दिया, उसे प्रतिबंध लगा दिया। भविष्य में कोई भी इनके साथ ना काम करेगा, ना कोई इनको काम देगा। कोई भी वर्कर्स आज इनके काम करने को तैयार नहीं। और साथ ही हमने भारत के प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को एक पत्र भी लिखा है। आज ही हमने एक पत्र लिखा है, ये हम जस्ट आज हमने कुरियर भी कर दिया उन्हें और ईमेल द्वारा भी भेजा है। सारे सोशल मीडिया जरिए से भी इनमें पहुंच गया है। हमने 5 मुद्दे रखे उनके ऊपर। इनके कोई भी भारत में लाइव कॉन्सर्ट इनका होने ना दे, प्रतिबंध लगा दिया जाए, भारत सरकार होने ना दे। इनके सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट जो भारत में, सभी पर प्रतिबंध लगा दिया जाए।
So viewers, there you have the reactions coming in, vehement opposition to Diljit Dosanjh's movie. There are calls, in fact there have been calls for Sunny Deol and Imtiaz Ali and many others to disassociate themselves. There are groups who are appealing to Sunny Deol and Imtiaz Ali to disassociate with Diljit. Diljit Dosanjh, remember, he's also starring in the Bollywood movie Border 2. Now, Border 1, of course, was all about patriotism, all about our sacrifice of our soldiers, the bravery of our soldiers. But with Diljit Dosanjh, teaming up there for a movie, with someone who's from Pakistan and insults our forces, that has not gone down well, of course, with the people of this country. It's not just these these film associations, but there's a lot of backlash from the fans of Diljit Dosanjh himself, if you see on social media. In fact, one of the singers, B. Prak, also had posted about conscience and unveiled jibe against Diljit Dosanjh. And that's the furor that is now only mounting against this Punjabi singer and actor. Of course, he has worked for Bollywood as well, a very popular figure, but he's now facing a boycott call. And we see that this Sardar Ji 3 movie starring Hania Amir and Diljit Dosanjh will be released in Pakistan on Friday. And this is a Punjabi movie hitting the screens overseas. But due to the ban on Pakistani actors in India, this movie will not be released in any Indian theatre. But the fact that it's being released in Pakistan has not gone down well. But this movie is going ahead with its release there. And we've seen Diljit Dosanjh posting pictures with scenes from the movie. And in fact, there are many singers who are talking about, who are in fact, there are many from the Punjabi film industry, from the Punjabi music industry now, who are trying, who are in fact, taking, who are in fact attacking, who are taking on Diljit Dosanjh. In the latest, we also have Guru Randhawa, who also sent a piece of advice to Diljit Dosanjh. And this is not the first time a Punjabi actor or Punjabi singer has criticized Diljit Dosanjh. And this is, of course, now a debate, a raging debate, because we've seen, viewers, even after Pathankot, we've seen after several of these Pakistan-sponsored attacks on Indian soil, the Pakistani actors were banned in India. And for the longest time, we did not see Pakistani singers, Pakistani actors featuring in Indian movies. But this movie's trailer was released right around the Pahalgham terror attack. and India was, of course, on its way to conduct Operation Sindoor. And what we saw was, what we saw, the kind of reactions that surfaced on social media by the Pakistani actors like Ali Zafar, Hania Ahmed, and many of them. Their Instagram accounts, forget the movies, forget the trailers, forget the videos. Their handles, their Instagram handles, their Twitter handles are all banned in India. And now when they see a very prominent Indian actor, singer Diljit Dosanjh featuring with a Pakistani actor who was in fact posting and using words like cowardly against India, against Indian soldiers, this, of course, is not going to go down well with anybody in the country, anybody who loves the country. And now in the latest, for all those who are tuning in right now, the AICWA, All India Cine Workers Association, has demanded ban on the movie and ban on the videos of this movie, also saying that no worker should collaborate with Diljit Dosanjh. And there's a nationwide boycott call now against Diljit Dosanjh. So these are the updates we have right now. Earlier we had the Federation of Western India Cinema Association as well, calling for a boycott. In fact, even demanding that Diljit Dosanjh's passport should be revoked. So these are the reactions that are coming in. In fact, Guru Randhawa is also a prominent Punjabi actor. He has also sung for Bollywood movies and he features regularly Punjabi songs. Now he has posted on social media, it's a cryptic message on X by Guru Randhawa, and I quote him, he says that when the PR team is more talented than the talent itself, controversies become part of the daily routine. The day is near when our people will open their eyes and know the truth. God bless the fake PR and the artists. So he is also, of course, and there are, of course, many other posts that are surfacing. Guru Randhawa saying that you are Indian first and don't disrespect India. There are calls for a boycott of Diljit Dosanjh. Okay, I have Suresh Gupta with me, All India Cine Workers Association President. गुप्ता जी, हमें बताइए कि जिस तरह से हम देख रहे हैं, दिलजीत दोसांझ अभी भी लग नहीं रहा है कि उनको कहीं भी ये इल्म है कि उन्होंने क्या किया है. वो कह रहे हैं शायद उनका जो मतलब है, हम देख रहे हैं एक इंटरनेशनल मीडिया उन्होंने बोला है कि ये पहले की बात है, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं उन्होंने ये बोला कि बहुत ज़्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट हो रखी है इस मूवी में और इसका पहलगाम के बाद से कोई नाता नहीं, उससे पहले से हुआ. लेकिन हम देख रहे हैं कि पहलगाम के बाद भी हानिया आमिर ने क्या क्या बोला है देश के बारे में, देश के सैनिकों के बारे में, उसके बावजूद भी उसके प्रमोशन में लगे हुए हैं, हानिया आमिर के साथ फोटोज डाले जा रहे हैं.
अभी हाल ही में देखा होगा, पाकिस्तान की मीडिया पे लोग मजाक बना रहे भारत का. ये सिर्फ दिलजीत के वजह से आज भारत ने इतना नुकसान, जहां अरबों का भारत का नुकसान हुआ और शहीदों से बढ़कर है क्या. पहलगाम में 26 मासूमों को दिन दहाड़े उनके परिवार वालों के सामने मारा गया गोलियों से, और ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में कई जवानों ने अपनी जान दी. उसके बावजूद भी देश से बढ़कर पैसा है. ये सिर्फ दिलजीत को मूवी को रिलीज करना है, पैसे से बढ़कर उनके लिए देश है, और उसी बहाना बना रहे कि हमारा लॉस हो जाएगा. यहाँ कई कारोबारियों ने अपना लाखों करोड़ों का नुकसान कर दिया. कई लोगों ने जो पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ खड़े हुए और देश के लिए उन्होंने कभी एक कतई बात भी नहीं सोची. लेकिन हमारे दिलजीत को ये पिक्चर रिलीज करनी है, भारत के खिलाफ में जाना है. आज पूरी दुनिया की 140 करोड़ जनता, विपक्ष हो सरकार हो, सब भारत के साथ खड़े. सिर्फ एक व्यक्ति को छोड़ के, वो है दिलजीत. दिलजीत पीछे हटेगा नहीं, वो पिक्चर को रिलीज करेगा ही कल 27 तारीख को. इसलिए हमने भारत के प्रत्येक एक नागरिक होने के, हमने यूनियन तो बाद में फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के एक नागरिक होने के प्रति हमने इसलिए बॉयकॉट किया, पूरा प्रतिबंध लगाया कि भारत में कभी भी दिलजीत फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में काम नहीं कर सकेगा और ना ही कोई इन्हें काम देगा. इसलिए हमने ये निर्णय लिया है दिलजीत के खिलाफ में कठोर. भले वो भारतीय है, लेकिन हमें उनके खिलाफ में कठोर निर्णय लेना पड़ा क्योंकि पीछे नहीं हट रहे, बस वो बहाने बना रहे.
जी, आपने अगर आप बताएं कि आपने प्रधानमंत्री को जो ये खत लिखा है, ये जो पत्र लिखा है, इसमें क्या क्या मांगे हैं आपकी?
हमारी सबसे बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण मांग है, भारत के फैन सबसे ज्यादा है दिलजीत, और दिलजीत यही पैदा हुए हैं, तो सबसे पहला इनके सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट जो भारत में है, भारत के हद में, सब पे प्रतिबंध लगाया जाए तत्काल प्रभाव से। कोई भी कॉन्सर्ट, लाइव कॉन्सर्ट, कहीं भी कॉन्सर्ट भारत में सरकार इनका होने ना दे, इन्हें परमिशन ना दे। कोई भी सरकार किसी भी राज्य की भी किसी भी स्कीम का, कोई भी गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम का इन्हें ब्रांड एम्बेसडर ना बनाए, और कोई भी नेता इनके साथ अभी भविष्य में ना मिले। और कोई भी मूवी के सॉन्ग्स इनके भारत में जो बनाए गए, जो भी मूवीज बनी है इनकी, सभी को प्रतिबंध लगा दिया जाए, भारत के प्लेटफॉर्म से तत्काल प्रभाव से निकाल दिया जाए। और बॉर्डर 2 में इनकी जो टेलीकास्ट हो रही है, बॉर्डर एक देशभक्ति फिल्म है, ऐसे गद्दारों को उस पिक्चर में लेने का अधिकार नहीं है, ना रहने का अधिकार है। तो बॉर्डर 2 से तत्काल प्रभाव से निकाला जाए। हमने ये मांग की है, पूरा कठोर मांग की है दिलजीत के खिलाफ में, भले वो भारतीय है, हमें लेना पड़ रहा है क्योंकि उनको पाकिस्तान ज्यादा आ रहा है। और हमने ये भी कल मांग की है अपने ट्विटर हैंडल से कि इनकी नागरिकता भारत की रद्द करे, इनको पाकिस्तान की नागरिकता लेके, वहां का वीजा लेके पूरे देश में घूमे। हमें सुनने में आ रहा है पाकिस्तान में अपनी पिक्चर रिलीज करे, जब पाकिस्तान पुलवामा अटैक के बाद हमारे भारतीय पिक्चर मूवी पर कई प्रतिबंध लगा चुके हैं, और ये भारत को विरोध कर पाकिस्तान में रिलीज करे। तो ऐसे लोगों को भारत में रहने का अधिकार नहीं है। आज कई लोगों ने निर्णय अपने पीछे लिए इस जंग के बाद, लेकिन दिलजीत एक ऐसा व्यक्ति है जिसे इतिहास में नाम में लिखा जाएगा, जो देश का गद्दार कहलाएगा, जो भारत के इस युद्ध छिड़ गया था हिंदुस्तान भारत के बीच में कारगिल के बाद, ऐसे महत्वपूर्ण हालात आ गए थे। उस कठिन समय में दिलजीत जाके ये पिक्चर रिलीज करा। इसलिए हमने प्रधानमंत्री जी से मांग की कि भारतीय हम मानेंगे नहीं इसे, अभी इसे पाकिस्तानी मानेंगे हम। और इसकी हमने ये भी मांग की कि जो पिक्चर में पैसे लगे वो किसने फंडेड किए, किस कंट्री ने फंडेड किए, पाकिस्तान ने फंडेड किया, क्योंकि और भी कलाकारों को उन्होंने इस पिक्चर में लिया है। तो इसकी भी जांच हो कि वो पीछे क्यों नहीं हट रहे। भारत से इतना लगाव लेने के बावजूद पाकिस्तान से प्यार क्यों इतना।
नहीं सुरेश गुप्ता जी, यही बात है तो कि हमने देखा है पाकिस्तान तो बाज आता नहीं है, चाहे वो उरी अटैक हो उसके बाद भी बैन किए गए थे, चाहे फवाद खान जैसे एक्टर्स हो, उसके बाद और अटैक हुए हैं, पुलवामा हुआ है, उसके बाद भी ऐसे ही डिमांड्स हुई थी, फिर मामला थोड़ा शांत हो जाता है, हम देखते थोड़ी दूरी बनाई जाती है, फिर कुछ साल बाद लोगों को लगता है कि पब्लिक मेमोरी इज शॉर्ट, पब्लिक मेमोरी शॉर्ट है, चलिए अब लोगों को क्या याद होगा, फिर से कुछ करते हैं और अपनी मार्केट को बड़ी करते हैं। आपको लगता है कि कुछ ठोस पुख्ता रूल्स रेगुलेशन होने चाहिए, ये बैन सिर्फ हवा में नहीं होना चाहिए, इसके पीछे पेनल्टी भी होनी चाहिए या कुछ पनिशमेंट होनी चाहिए?
सरकार को एक लॉ पारित करना चाहिए लोकसभा में पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ में, कि कोई भी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में कोई भी पाकिस्तानी कलाकार कोई भी रिलेटेड हो, उन्हें प्रतिबंध लगाने के लिए लोकसभा में पारित करना चाहिए। पाकिस्तान, अभी आपने कहा, पाकिस्तान हर बार अपने दोहरापन को दोहराता है, आतंकवादी हमला करता है, वो रुकेगा नहीं, वो आगे भी करेगा। इसलिए पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ में लोकसभा में पारित होना चाहिए, क्योंकि बैन ये कुछ दौर के लिए रहते। अभी कुछ मामला ठंडा होने के बाद फिर टी सीरीज के एल्बम के लोग, फिर कई म्यूजिक इंडस्ट्री के लोग, कई पिक्चर के लोग पाकिस्तानी कलाकारों को काम देते। इनकी जमीन मर्द की होती है, ये सुनते नहीं है। इसलिए लोकसभा में इसे पारित करना पड़ेगा, तब जाके इसका हल निकलेगा। नहीं तो ये जो देश में आज दिलजीत गद्दार बने, ऐसे कई गद्दार है जो पाकिस्तान को हमेशा कलाकारों को मौका देते। 200 के आसपास पूरी दुनिया में कंट्री है। आप दुबई के एक्टर लीजिए, यूएई के लिए, लंदन, फ्रांस, कहीं से भी लेना, कौन मना कर रहा है? आपको पाकिस्तान से इतना प्यार क्यों? पाकिस्तानी क्यों चाहिए आपको पाकिस्तान से इतना हमदर्दी, पाकिस्तान चले जाए ना। आज हजारों की तादाद में, जब से देश आजाद हुआ है, कई हजारों जवानों ने इस देश के लिए जान दी है, शहीद हुए। उनके परिवार से जाके पूछिए, हजारों की तादाद में घर लोग अनाथ हो गए, बच्चे, उनके माता पिता, पत्नी ने अपने पति को खोया है, बच्चों ने अपने माँ बाप को खोया है। आज जाके उनका दर्द पूछिए, उनके घर का कमाई का पूछिए, जरिया क्या है। या मेरे भी अपने पिताजी 2015 में, मेरे पिताजी आज मेरे बीच में नहीं है, आज उनकी कमी खिलती है। तो मैं समझ सकता हूँ कि एक शहीद के परिवार की कमी क्या होती है जब एक बॉर्डर पे शहीद होता है। तो ऐसे लोगों, दिलजीत लोगों को तो भारत में देशद्रोही घोषित कर देना चाहिए। इसलिए लोकसभा में एक कानून पारित करना बहुत जरूरी, गद्दारी के लिए, आगे भी करते रहेंगे। और पाकिस्तान कभी भी अपने हरकत से नहीं आएगा, वो गद्दार था, गद्दार है और गद्दार रहेगा। इसलिए मैंने उनका नाम रखा पाकिस्तान टेररिस्ट कंट्री, उसे टेररिस्ट कंट्री के नाम जाएगा। आपने कल का मेरा स्टेटमेंट देखेगा, मैंने हानिया खान को भी टेररिस्ट कहा है, ये टेररिस्ट से कम नहीं है। हमारे भारत के खिलाफ आप स्टेटमेंट दोगे, हम बर्दाश्त करेंगे, हम आपको बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे, आपको पूरे भारत से खत्म कर देंगे हम।
बिल्कुल। सुरेश गुप्ता जी, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए रिपब्लिक टीवी पर। व्यूअर्स, so there you have the anger, of course, is palpable. Of course, even if you see in social media, not just the people of the country, you've seen people from the same industry are also, in fact, talking about what Diljit has done and criticizing him. Sometimes there's a wheel drive, and here you have many associations also calling for a direct boycott, a ban on Diljit Dosanjh. We will keep a close eye on this story that Republic TV has been tracking from yesterday, but right now we're stepping into a very, very short break. On the other hand, we will be counting down to the docking of the Axiom 4 mission at the International Space Station, Tiranga at the International Space Station after 41, that's for the first time. In fact, we'll get you more on that. Stay tuned to Republic TV. We'll be right back. And also, a Navy staffer has been held for spying for Pakistan. His name is Vishal Yadav. We'll tell you his story and the charges against him.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
विमल में गुलिस्तान की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबान में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबा केसरी।
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
We must return to the negotiating table, and for that, allow IAEA inspectors, the guardians on our behalf of the NPT, to go back to Iran's nuclear sites and account for the stockpiles of uranium, including, most importantly, the 400 kilograms enriched to 60%.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
we must return to the negotiating table. And for that, allow IAEA inspectors, the guardians on behalf of the NPT, to go back to Iran's nuclear sites and account for the stockpiles of uranium, including, most importantly, the 400 kilograms enriched to 60%.
Do you have 100% confidence that Iran's nuclear sites were totally destroyed?
Well, Kristen, I'm not going to get into sensitive intelligence about what we've seen on the ground there in Iran, but we've seen a lot, and I feel very confident that we have substantially delayed their development of a nuclear weapon, and that was the goal of this attack.
I don't just report from courtrooms on verdicts, I decode them. From breaking news to complex legal verdicts, every word is backed by law. At the Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how to report on legal issues with accuracy and speed. The RSJ Diploma, starting on the 30th of June. Apply now.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
विमल में गुलिस्तां के ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुलें तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की जुबान में खुद को ऐसे डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं? विमल, बोलो जुबान कैसी?
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
We must return to the negotiating table. And for that, allow IAEA inspectors, the guardians on behalf of the NPT, to go back to Iran's nuclear sites and account for the stockpiles of uranium, including, most importantly, the 400 kilograms enriched to 60%.
Do you have 100% confidence that Iran's nuclear sites were totally destroyed?
I'm also just 20 years old. At a young age, I climbed Mount Everest. That is also very something great, I can say. So if I can do, why not you?
सर मुबारक हो पूरी टीम को सर, हमारी तरफ से पूरी टीम को बहुत बहुत बधाई सर।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Watching live and breaking at 3 p.m. I am Tanisha Avasthi. We are just moments away from the historic touch to the International Space Station. The countdown has already begun. The AX-4 crew will be landing in space, will be there at the International Space Station, led by Subhanshu Shukla in just some moments from now. 4:30 p.m. is the time that we have been given. We are tracking that story very, very closely. But first, a quick check of the headlines that we are tracking at this hour.
बहुत ही ज़्यादा प्राउड फील कर रहा हूँ। और जब हम लॉन्च कर रहे थे तो मेरे स्पेस सूट पे तिरंगा मेरे शोल्डर्स पे था, जो मुझे कहीं ना कहीं ये याद दिला रहा था कि मैं अकेले ये जर्नी नहीं अंडरटेक कर रहा हूँ, बल्कि आप सब मेरे साथ हैं।
It's historic. The AX-4 crew sends a message from space. India's pride, Subhanshu Shukla, says, I am not alone, and that all Indians with me are on this mission. Axiom mission crew is scheduled to dock with the ISS at the Harmony Module Space Facing Port today at approximately 4:30 p.m. Big breakthrough in Ahmedabad plane crash probe, data downloaded from the black boxes. Defence Minister Rajasthan Singh refuses to sign the SCO document as it attempted to remove Pahalgham and include Balochistan. No joint statement to be released. Massive furor over Bollywood actor Diljit Dosanjh's movie with Pakistani actress. Massive furor over Bollywood actor Diljit. Navy Safar arrested by the intelligence wing of Rajasthan on charges for spying for Pakistan, sent to police custody till 30 June. This edition with breaking news coming in, where we learn that the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau has downloaded the data of the CVR and the DFDR, and in regard with the same, there are Air India officials, engineering head SK Dash, COO Basil Kwok and CEO Campbell Wilson, along with other Air India officials that are inside the DGCA office. All of them, remember, have been summoned. In fact, Republic confronted and questioned the Air India CEO Campbell Wilson. Let's listen in to what he had to say. That's a huge breaking news that's coming in. Remember, the black box data has been retrieved. We learned that the Aircraft Investigation Bureau has downloaded the data of the CVR and the DFDR of the Air India 171, and now the same is being analyzed. And in regard with the same, we learned that Air India officials, engineering head along with the Air India CEO Campbell Wilson, along with Air India officials, are inside the DGCA office. We in fact confronted and questioned the Air India CEO. Listen in.
Air India CEO Campbell Wilson now arrives at DGCA office. He is called by DGCA for an investigation, and there's the visual of the Campbell Wilson's vehicle. He has reached at DGCA office for the ongoing investigation by DGCA on the crashed airline AI-171. So right now the visuals on our screen, there's the DGCA office where Campbell Wilson has been called. He just now has arrived at DGCA office as investigation is going on, and several questions will be posed by DGCA to Air India CEO Campbell Wilson regarding the safety audits and regarding the crashed aircraft snacks as well.
All right, Harsha is joining us live from outside the DGCA office. Harsha, you tried asking Campbell Wilson some questions. We learned that he has been summoned along with other Air India officials at the DGCA office. Why has the summoning come after so many days, and what is it that Campbell Wilson will be talked about in the key meeting?
So Tanisha, right now we are outside DGCA office only, and DGCA Fairs Ahmed Siddiqui has only summoned all the Air India officials along with the top officials as well. As we clearly showed, we had the visuals also. CEO Campbell Wilson, COO Basil Quark, Engineering Head SK Dash, and other officials like the Vice President P. Balaji and the other officials are present right now inside the DGCA office. And this meeting becomes very important in the light of that DGCA is carrying out independent investigation in the crashed plane AI-171 and what happened inside the aircraft, and regarding the audits and the malfunctioning in the aircraft AI-171 as well. And that is the reason Campbell Wilson today himself has appeared, because all these questions from the side of DGCA will be posed to Air India officials regarding the faulty aircraft, regarding the issues in the aircraft, regarding still the snacks being found and the 29 snacks found in the crashed aircraft AI-171 before it crashed when it was bound for London. And all these questions are very important to answer. And this is the first time after the plane crash that Air India CEO has been summoned by DGCA. He's right now inside, but it will take almost one and a half hour for him to come out for us to ask him more questions. Back to you.
Right, Harsha, thank you very much for getting us those details. We're tracking that story very, very closely. But for now, it's time for us to move on to the other stories that we're tracking. All right, so visuals on your screen are of the Air India CEO, Campbell Wilson, who has arrived at the DGCA office. Remember, the DGCA has summoned Air India officials along with the Air India CEO. And this is in regard with the Air India crash that took off from Ahmedabad, which was heading to London, AI-171. 241 lives were lost. And in regard with the same, the black box data has been recovered, and after which we learned is that the Air India CEO, Campbell Wilson, along with other Air India officials, have been summoned by the DGCA. Moving on, Indian Air Force Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is all set to make history today as he leads the Axiom 4 mission to dock at the International Space Station. Now, after launching into orbit on June 25, aboard the SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft powered by a Falcon 9 rocket from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, Shubhanshu Shukla and his international crew are preparing for their autonomous docking with the orbiting laboratory at around 4:30 p.m. That is the Indian Standard Time. Now, as the pilot of the mission, Shubhanshu Shukla will play a key role in monitoring the trajectory, orbital parameters and movement of the space station as Dragon prepares to dock. Here's the AX4 crew's message from space that came just few moments back.
एक छोटा सा संदेश मेरे सारे देशवासियों के लिए। कुछ ही देर कल 1 महीने क्वारंटीन में रहने के बाद कल हम लोग लॉन्च पैड 39 से लॉन्च हुए, जहां से पहली मून लैंडिंग, जहां से अपोलो 11 मिशन भी लॉन्च हुआ था। और इस समय स्पेस में बहुत ही ज़्यादा उत्साह, तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा प्राउड फील कर रहा हूँ। और जब हम लॉन्च कर रहे थे तो मेरे स्पेस सूट पे तिरंगा मेरे शोल्डर्स पे था, जो मुझे कहीं ना कहीं ये याद दिला रहा था कि मैं अकेले ये जर्नी नहीं अंडरटेक कर रहा हूँ, बल्कि आप सब मेरे साथ हैं और इस जर्नी का एक हिस्सा हैं। तो ये ISS तक जाने के लिए मेरी एक जर्नी की शुरुआत है एक तरह से। अभी हम लोग कुछ ही घंटों में ISS में डॉक करेंगे और फिर हम इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन पे जाके रहेंगे। बट कहीं ना कहीं ये भी दर्शाता है कि ये भारत के ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की एक छोटा सा स्टेप पर एक बहुत सॉलिड और स्टेडी स्टेप है उस डायरेक्शन में जिस तरफ हम जा रहे हैं गगनयान जैसे मिशन को लेके। तो मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप सब मेरी इस जर्नी का हिस्सा बने, आप भी उतना ही प्राउड फील करें जितना मैं फील कर रहा हूँ, बिकॉज ये सब हमारे केवल टेक्निकल एकम्प्लिशमेंट को नहीं दर्शाता है, बल्कि हमारे ये होप्स या हमारे एम्बिशंस या हमारे एस्पिरेशंस को दर्शाता है कि हम किस तरफ जाना चाहते हैं। तो आइए मेरे साथ इस जर्नी का हिस्सा बनिए। मेरी पूरी कोशिश रहेगी कि अगले 14 दिनों में मेरा जो मिशन एकम्प्लिशमेंट है, जो टास्क है, वो तो मैं अचीव करूँ ही, बट ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस एक्सपीरियंस को मैं किस तरह से अपनी फ़ोटोज़ और वीडियोज़ में कैप्चर करूँ, ताकि मैं वापस आके आप लोगों के साथ इसे शेयर कर सकूँ। मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप मेरे थ्रू ये जर्नी एक्सपीरियंस करें और इसका हिस्सा बने। एंड चलिए अगले 14 दिन को एक्साइटिंग बनाते हैं और साथ में स्पेस में रहते हैं। आई एम थ्रिल्ड टू बी हियर विद माय fellow astronauts, as Peggy said, 1 veteran and 3 rookies, and wow, what a ride it was. Frankly, when I was sitting in the capsule in Grace yesterday on the launch pad, my only thought in my mind was that let's just go. After 30 days of quarantine, it was a feeling that I just wanted to go. You know, the excitement and all was, probably far away. It was just the feeling that let's just leave here. But when the ride started, it was something like you're getting pushed back into the seat. It was an amazing ride. And then suddenly, nothing. Everything silenced, and you were just floating. You unbuckle, and you were just floating in the silence of vacuum. It was an amazing feeling. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has been a part of this. I understand that this is not a personal accomplishment. It is a collective achievement of each and every one of you who has been a part of this journey, and to make this possible, I really want to thank each one of you. Also to family and friends, your support has mattered so much. This is so much because of all of you guys. We showed you joy and grace. This is swan, a great symbol. It looks really cute, but we have a very important swan in our Indian culture, which we are about. Swan symbolizes wisdom. It also has the ability to discern it should be focused on and what does not. So basically, the golden age of distraction, I would say. So this means a lot more, not just a zero-G indicator for us. And I think that we all have symbolism in Poland and in Hungary, in India as well. So I think this looks like a coincidence, but it is not. That it has more meaning than what we are attaching it to it. The capsule itself, Grace, has been very kind. I have been feeling, I was not feeling very great when we, got shot into the vacuum. But since yesterday, I've been told that I've been sleeping a lot, which is a good sign. So I think that's a great sign. I'm getting used to this quite well, enjoying the views, enjoying the entire experience, learning like a baby, learning the new steps, learning how to walk, learning how to control yourself, everything, learning how to eat, I think. So it's a new environment, new challenge, and I'm really enjoying this experience with my fellow astronauts here. And it's good to make mistakes, but it's better to see somebody else do that too. So, so it has been a fun time up here. That is all I have to say. Thank you so much, guys, for making this happen, and I'm sure that we are going to have a great time. And with this, I will hand over to Tipu.
And that was Mission Pilot Subhanshu Shukla's message to India from space. Indeed, a very light-hearted message, but a very, very powerful message. On that note, I'm being joined by Ravish Malhotra, the Air Commodore of the IAF, retired, and I'm also being joined by Srijan Pal Singh. He's a senior scientist and the founder at the Kalam Center. Ravish Malhotra, sir, first to you. I'm sure it must be very delightful to see Subhanshu Shukla up there in space, and you must be reminiscing about your old days with Rakesh sir. How does it feel, first of all, seeing another Indian after 41 years back in space?
I think it's a very exciting time absolutely, that after 41 years, we are back in space with our second astronaut. And it is history being carved out with his visit to the International Space Station. He'll be the first Indian to visit the International Space Station. And his message that he sent makes so much sense. That, the entire team has been working towards this particular goal. And I think everybody needs to be rewarded for what is happening today. The entire team at ISRO and the people who trained these 4 astronauts. And so we're really looking forward to his 14 days in space. And I'm sure that we'll get, whatever the experiments are being done, that he will share with the media at some point in time.
Sir, I request you to please stay with us. I'm also being joined by Srijan Pal Singh. He's a senior scientist, also founder at the Kalam Center. Srijan, you've been a senior scientist, and I want to know from you, these 14 days that the AX4 crew will be in space, they'll be exploring a lot of things. I want you to detail it to our viewers. What is exactly going to happen in these 14 days, and how is it actually going to help India, keeping in mind India's space explorations that we are looking forward to in many other missions as well?
Oh, absolutely. And first of all, let me start with, I'm so excited and happy to see Air Commander Ravish Ji here. It is his generation which has inspired the generation of Shubhanshu Shukla's, and Shubhanshu Shukla will inspire another generation of future Gagan nauts and Gagan Yatris. Now we'll not call them astronauts anymore. So wonderful to be with you, sir. I think, see, this is a very, very important mission. You heard what Group Captain Shubhanshu said. He said that, when I first entered into the vacuum of space, I felt the microgravity had effects on my body. He felt it on the day one itself. Now, this is why space research and this Axiom mission is so important and such a good precursor to our Gaganyaan mission. Now we have a commander of our Gaganyaan. He'll probably be commanding the Gaganyaan mission, who's accustomed to space and what goes wrong initially. So he's very well accustomed to that. So no matter how much training you do, space is space. It's a different thing from Earth. So that's our training number one. That's first experiment. The experiment on the human body when it's exposed to microgravity, which is near zero gravity, which happens in International Space Station and the journey towards it. The second major experiment which is going to happen is around the whole area of botany and agriculture. So that's the second stream which we are working on. From methi to moong, we will figure out, how growing pattern of seeds, especially of Indian seeds, behave in microgravity. Now, this seems a very benign experiment. Why would you do that? Because in future, you might actually have to do that. You might have to grow food in space, and you need to understand plants better and how gravity has an effect on them. Because then, if you do it on some other planet, you will be able to factor in the changed gravity on a plant growth. We will also study on, things like what is the effect of screen usage in space. Now, this is a very important thing. We are still grappling with the idea of screen usage on Earth. Now we are going to study on the screen usage in space. What does it lead to? We will focus on tiny creatures like tardigrades, which are very, the beautiful insects. You should read up about them on internet, which can survive in the vacuum of space for many hours. And we are going to study them. And there are many other experiments which are from IISc to agriculture institutes in India and also abroad, which will be conducted. About 60 experiments from 31 countries will be done under this mission. But in a way, the icing on the cake would be his interaction with school children, which will be done via a satellite radio system, which will happen. We don't have the exact date. I'm sure it will be a wonderful day. And I am also looking forward to when the Prime Minister will speak to our astronaut, because we had one iconic moment back in 80s, and this is after 41 years, another iconic moment. What is important to note is that this is not, as we have all been talking about, this is just the beginning. This is just a sapling stage. And after this, what comes is our Gaganyaan mission, and then the Bharat Antariksh Station. All of this aligns into that. So this is the beginning. Stay tuned, and if you're especially in school, get inspired. You can be the Gagan Yatri who will go into the Bharat Antariksh Station in 2035.
Please stay with us. Ravish Malhotra continues to stay with us. Sir, I'm sure Shubhanshu Shukla must have undergone rigorous training to come at this stage, and a very, very proud moment for India, in fact, where he is the mission pilot, and India is the one who is leading it, and it's a very monumental moment for India. Please take us through about the kind of rigorous training that Rakesh Sharma had to go back then, and comparing it to now Shubhanshu Shukla, what he had to go to reach at this stage where he is today.
I think, our 4 astronauts, all the 4 astronauts, including Shubhanshu, have undergone very, very rigorous training. They've done a lot of theoretical classes, know the mechanics of space flight, and then also a lot of simulator sessions, because you need to be conversant with how everything is going to take place once you're coming into dock. Also, when you're up there in space in zero gravity or microgravity, they take you up in aircraft where they are able to give you about 45 seconds of zero gravity at a time, wherein you actually are in microgravity during that period. And of course, the other thing that has to happen along with all this is physical training, because you need to be absolutely physically fit. It's not something like you get up there and if you fall sick, the mission can't be aborted. You're there for 14 days and you're nice and absolutely fit. In fact, that is why they are kept in quarantine before their departure, before the liftoff. And in this case, as Subhanshu was saying, that he was actually there for almost 30 days. And he was just wanting to, lift off, get off and get on with it. And I think it's been a very, very exciting trip, not only for him, but for the entire nation, for all our younger generation. I think everybody is tuned in to what is happening out there.
Absolutely. Ravish sir, what is that one message that you would want to give Shubhanshu Shukla, just in case he's hearing us? Because we heard just few moments back the live chat that the AX4Q was having with the Space Center here. What is that one message that you would want to pass off to Shubhanshu Shukla, who in just about 1 hour from now, 1 hour 9 minutes to be precise, will be docking at the ISS?
I would only tell him to, this is once in a lifetime, the first time that he's gone up there, to enjoy himself. And he will be very busy, but at the same time, we want his safe return back to Earth. And my only message to him would be that he should keep his head on his shoulders and his feet firmly on the ground. And that will stand him in very good stead.
Right. Ravish sir, it's honestly a pleasure to speak to you. All the old moments of 41 years back, it's just come down back again, fresh in our minds. Srijanpal, one last question before I let both of you go. As the mission of the pilot, it is a huge responsibility for Shubhanshu Shukla. What do you think are Shubhanshu Shukla's key priorities, keeping in mind that he is the mission pilot and that he has a huge responsibility on his head, keeping in mind that he will have to explore a lot of things once the spacecraft is docked at the ISS, and he has to come back and give the detailed report here?
A lot of responsibility. This is going to be very hard work. There's no fun time left now because this is only 14 days you have. Beginning as of this moment, this is a very crucial phase which is beginning, where he has to very carefully dock with the International Space Station. Now imagine both of these bodies, the Dragon capsule and the International Space Station, are moving at a speed of 27,000 kilometers per hour. That's astronomically high speed. Any little error can really put the whole mission in jeopardy. Thankfully, there's artificial intelligence available there. There are very trained pilots. There is the mission commander, who's a astronaut with many, many years of experience.
Right, sir.
All of those are there, but he is the mission pilot. He has to ensure that everything goes absolutely correct. The AI is there to only assist, but final call is of the crew itself.
Right, sir.
Now, the thing is, our Dragon capsule is about 400 meters away from the International Space Station. It will move closer and closer to 200 meters and then 20 meters. And then the very slow process of really aligning those vestibule would be extremely important. And through this vestibule, the astronauts will go into the International Space Station. Now, this is mission number 1. Right now, that should be his priority.
Right.
Then begins the 14 days of all those experiments which have to be done in a zero gravity environment. Imagine that every 90 minutes, day and night changes. So, what happens here in 24 hours happens in 90 minutes. So it's like massive days and nights are happening rapidly. And yet he has to do all those experiments by the clockwork. And then when he's coming back, that is the most crucial phase. And you remember what happened with Sunita Williams and the Boeing return capsule which she had, and she was stranded in space for 9 months. That return capsule, piloting that, monitoring all the parameters, that is going to be crucial. And once he comes back after 14 days, the body changes.
Yeah.
There are certain, muscular degeneration which will happen. That is recoverable. And do remember, he's an Air Force pilot.
Yeah.
One of the best flights, all the best aircrafts he has been a pilot of. He's a very senior person in the Indian Air Force, and he's the best amongst the best.
Absolutely.
So all the best to him.
Absolutely. Ravish sir and Srijan Pal, both of you, thank you very much for speaking to Republic. We will connect back to you again at the moment when the docking is about to happen. Remember, these are the live visuals that Republic is showing to you at any moment now. In fact, to be precise, the countdown is on your screen, on the top of your screen. 1 hour, 5 minutes to go for the historic docking of the AX-4 crew at the International Space Station. With that, I would like to thank both my guests for joining me here on the broadcast and helping us understand what the key explorations will be during this mission. But for now, it's time for us to slip into a short break. But after the break, we'll get you the details of the AX-4 crew mission. We are staying live and rolling on the biggest story for today, the AX-4 crew mission, where they are all scheduled to dock at the ISS. But also after the break, we're getting you the other stories wherein there is a massive furor over Bollywood actor Diljit Dosanj's movie with Pakistani actress. All India Cine workers have now written to the Prime Minister. Details of that letter right after a short break.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
We are here in the city of Khan Yunis. This is the European hospital right behind me. The European hospital in Khan Yunis. You can see the very big hole in the ground right in front of it. This is the entrance we opened for a very big command and control compound, Hamas command and control compound. Yet this is another example of the cynical use of Hamas, using civilians as human shields, using civilian infrastructure, hospitals again and again. You find those infrastructures. Found underneath the hospital, right under the emergency room, a compound of few rooms. In one of them, we killed Mohammed Sinwar, in approved now. He was the brother of Yahya Sinwar, the previous leader of this murderous and terror organization, Hamas.
Palestine Square. You can see behind me the community college. You can see there the Alpha Luna Society for Deaf Children. You can see government buildings. You can see civilian buildings. From outside, everything looks normal. Everything looks like a regular city. When you go inside, you can see on the left side a garage, which is not a garage, it's a workshop. Our troops arrived here before a few days. We found the place booby-trapped. We neutralized the threat and entered inside. I want to show you what's inside. Again, a college, a healthcare for children, citizens, civilians, and more. Come with me. You enter inside, you see a workshop for tunnels. They're building tunnels here. Come with me. You can see inside here, deep down, a tunnel which was built for the last few months. You can see here the lift, heavy duty lift. You can see the phone there with communication down to the tunnel. There are posters of instructions of how to build, for what to do, when to do. You can see all around here cement and concrete and equipment for building the tunnel inside. All of these are the walls for the tunnel, which are taken down with the high lift down approximately a few tens of meters. Continue with me. This is the head of the tunnels. You put those walls on the sides, these on the top, and this is the tunnel that runs for miles and miles. We've seen these inside. We know these were meant for tunnels. We've seen them inside. We know exactly what they're made for. Again, look from the outside. Palestine Square, community, hotels, colleges, everything as normal. You take 5 meters to the left, a regular garage is a workshop for tunnels. This is the place where they build tunnels. This is how they build tunnels. They use civilian infrastructure to build terror. This is a terror place. There's no other explanation. Look inside again.
A very warm welcome, viewers. At Republic Media Network, we celebrate the dreams of those who rise to grow, to build and to lead. Building Bharat, the real estate, real impact. Republic Media Network's inaugural real estate conclave on the 27th of June, celebrating the future of India's urban transformation. Stay tuned.
कर रहा हूँ और जब हम लॉन्च कर रहे थे तो मेरे स्पेस सूट पे तिरंगा मेरे शोल्डर पे था, जो मुझे कहीं ना कहीं ये याद दिला रहा था कि मैं अकेले ये जर्नी नहीं अंडरटेक कर रहा हूँ, बल्कि आप सब मेरे साथ हैं।
Historic Axiom 4 crew sends a message from space. India's pride. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla says, "I'm not alone. All Indians with me on this mission." Axiom Mission 4's crew scheduled to dock with the ISS at the Harmony module space facing port today at approximately 4:30 p.m. Big breakthrough in Ahmedabad plane crash probe. Data downloaded from the black box. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh refuses to sign the Shanghai Cooperation Organization document that would have diluted India's stand on terrorism and the Pahalgham terror attack. No joint statement to be released. And massive furor over Bollywood actor and singer Diljit Dosanjh's movie with the Pakistani actress. All India Cine Workers Association called for complete boycott. Navy staffer arrested by the intelligence wing of Rajasthan on charges for spying for Pakistan, sent to police custody till the 30th of June. A very warm welcome, viewers. I'm Rakshita Mishra with you, and the countdown has begun. Indian Air Force Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is all set to make history today. He's leading the Axiom 4 mission to dock at the International Space Station. So, for the first time, an Indian at the International Space Station is what we are going to witness from now. 57 minutes to go. Okay, 56 as I speak, almost, after launching into orbit on the 25th of June aboard the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft, powered by a Falcon 9 rocket from the NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Group Captain Shukla and his international crew are preparing for their autonomous docking with the orbiting laboratory at around 4:30 p.m. That is Indian Standard Times, in an hour from now. And in fact, the pilot of the mission, Group Captain Shukla, will play a key role in monitoring the trajectory, the orbital parameters, and also movement of the space station as Dragon prepares to dock. So viewers, let's take a listen in to Axiom 4 crew's message from the space.
एक छोटा सा संदेश मेरे सारे देशवासियों के लिए। कुछ ही देर कल 1 महीने क्वारंटीन में रहने के बाद कल हम लोग लॉन्च पैड 39 से लॉन्च हुए, जहां से पहली मून लैंडिंग, जहां से अपोलो 11 मिशन भी लॉन्च हुआ था और इस समय स्पेस में बहुत ही ज़्यादा उत्साह, तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा प्राउड फील कर रहा हूँ। और जब हम लॉन्च कर रहे थे तो मेरे स्पेस सूट पे तिरंगा मेरे शोल्डर्स पे था, जो मुझे कहीं ना कहीं ये याद दिला रहा था कि मैं अकेले ये जर्नी नहीं अंडरटेक कर रहा हूँ, बल्कि आप सब मेरे साथ हैं और इस जर्नी का एक हिस्सा है। तो ये ISS तक जाने के लिए मेरी एक जर्नी की शुरुआत है एक तरह से। अभी हम लोग कुछ ही घंटों में ISS में डॉक करेंगे और फिर हम इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन पे जाके रहेंगे। बट कहीं ना कहीं ये भी दर्शाता है कि ये भारत के ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की एक छोटा सा स्टेप पर एक बहुत सॉलिड और स्टेडी स्टेप है उस डायरेक्शन में जिस तरफ हम जा रहे हैं गगनयान जैसे मिशन को लेके। तो मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप सब मेरी इस जर्नी का हिस्सा बने। आप भी उतना ही प्राउड फील करें जितना मैं फील कर रहा हूँ, बिकॉज ये सब हमारे केवल टेक्निकल एकम्प्लिशमेंट को नहीं दर्शाता है, बल्कि हमारे ये होप्स या हमारे एम्बिशंस या हमारे एस्पिरेशंस को दर्शाता है कि हम किस तरफ जाना चाहते हैं। तो आइए मेरे साथ इस जर्नी का हिस्सा बनिए। मैं मेरी पूरी कोशिश रहेगी कि अगले 14 दिनों में मेरा जो मिशन एकम्प्लिशमेंट है, जो टास्क है, वो तो मैं अचीव करूँ ही, बट ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस एक्सपीरियंस को मैं किस तरह से अपनी फ़ोटोज़ और वीडियोज़ में कैप्चर करूँ ताकि मैं वापस आके आप लोगों के साथ इसे शेयर कर सकूँ। मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप मेरे थ्रू ये जर्नी एक्सपीरियंस करें और इसका हिस्सा बने। एंड चलिए अगले 14 दिन को एक्साइटिंग बनाते हैं और साथ में स्पेस में रहते हैं। आई एम thrilled to be here with my fellow astronauts, as Peggy said, 1 veteran and 3 rookies, and wow, what a ride it was. Frankly, when I was sitting in the capsule in Grace yesterday on the launch pad, my only thought in my mind was that let's just go. After 30 days of quarantine, it was a feeling that I just wanted to go. You know, the excitement and all was, probably far away. It was just the feeling that let's just leave here. But when the ride started, it was something like you getting pushed back into the seat. It was an amazing ride. And then suddenly, nothing. Everything silenced, and you were just floating. You unbuckle, and you were just floating in the silence of vacuum. It was an amazing feeling. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has been a part of this. I understand that this is not a personal accomplishment. It is a collective achievement of each and every one of you who has been a part of this journey, and to make this possible, I really want to thank each one of you. Also to family and friends, your support has mattered so much. This is so much because of all of you guys. We showed you joy and grace. This is swan, a great symbol. It looks really cute, but we have a very important swan in our Indian culture, which we are about. Swan symbolizes wisdom. It also has the ability to discern needs to be focused on and what does not. So basically, the golden age of distraction, I would say. So this means a lot more, not just a zero-G indicator for us. And I think that we all have symbolism in Poland and in Hungary, in India as well. So I think this looks like a coincidence, but it is not. That it has more meaning than what we are attaching it to it. The capsule itself, Grace, has been very kind. I was not feeling very great when we, got shot into the vacuum. But since yesterday, I've been told that I've been sleeping a lot, which is a good sign. So I think that's a great sign. I'm getting used to this quite well, enjoying the views, enjoying the entire experience, learning like a baby, learning the new steps, learning how to walk, learning how to control yourself, everything, learning how to eat, I think. So it's a new environment, new challenge, and I'm really enjoying this experience with my fellow astronauts here. And it's good to make mistakes, but it's better to see somebody else do that too. So it has been a fun time up here. That is all I have to say. Thank you so much, guys, for making this happen, and I'm sure that we are going to have a great time. And with this, I will hand over to Tibor now.
All right, now we are cutting across to the visuals that are being now released by NASA. This is, in fact, a live stream that we are showing in the run-up to the Axiom 4 docking. And there you have the orbit. You can see how the Falcon 9 is being tracked over there. And these are the live visuals
Remember, this is in the run-up to the docking at the International Space Station, and these are visuals coming in. NASA's Falcon 9 has launched yesterday. The Axiom mission 4 to the International Space Station. This is of course of historic importance there, and the docking process is also going to be very, very interesting, and we will get more updates coming in, viewers. But remember, this is history being made. Why are we saying this? Because never has any Indian been on the International Space Station. Rakesh Sharma did not make it to the International Space Station, but he was the first Indian in space. So that is the moment when we see this video that we just played out of Group Captain Shukla speaking from his heart from that spacecraft. Let's take a listen back to 41 years ago when Rakesh Sharma had said, "Sare jahan se acha Hindustan hamara."
स्क्वाड्रन लीडर राकेश शर्मा, सारे राष्ट्र का ध्यान आपके तरफ है और हम सब आपको बधाई देते हैं। यह एक ऐतिहासिक कदम है। मेरी आशा है कि इससे हमारा देश अंतरिक्ष के प्रति जागरूक होगा और साथ ही हमारे युवकों को साहसिक कार्य करने की प्रेरणा मिलेगी। प्रश्न तो आपसे बहुत से पूछने हैं, लेकिन थोड़े से पूछती हूँ। ऊपर से भारत कैसा दिखता है आपको?
जी, मैं बगैर किसी झिझक के कह सकता हूँ कि सारे जहां से अच्छा।
So there you have, this is the moment that India has waited for 41 years. We have the Indian Air Force Group Captain after 41 years in space. He sent out that message, and now these are the visuals there you have from the, I think this is from inside the spacecraft, and countdown to the docking has begun. It's a new chapter. This is being scripted. This is history that is being scripted, and the ISS will see the Tiranga for the very, very first time. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla will become the first Indian ever to set foot on the International Space Station. And this is what, these are the visuals coming in from NASA. And remember, viewers, this flight is going to complete 28 hours. 28 hours after liftoff, the Dragon capsule carrying these Axiom 4 crew members will dock at the space station and begin their 14-day mission, and at least 60 experiments will be conducted over there.
From Roscosmos also aboard the station, and then eventually the Dragon Grace spacecraft, as we get now views inside of Dragon Grace, the Dragon Endurance spacecraft, and looking over the shoulders of Commander Peggy Whitson and pilot Shubhanshu Shukla of ISRO. They will also join with the Soyuz MS-27 spacecraft that brought, and you see them adjusting their monitors as the approach continues on space station for Dragon. And then a great view in the middle of the screen there of the path Dragon is taking. Last time we saw inside, it was more towards the left-hand side of the screen. The Dragon, which Dragon now flying up and over top of the International Space Station. And now we get great views from Dragon Grace, and there's the strobe light. You can see it ever so faintly illuminating the International Space Station as it continues.
Houston on the big loop. Dragon is transmitting docking camera video. Please confirm video and data updating in Dragon docking monitor. Also, we have a new docking time of 10:30.
It was more towards the left-hand side of the screen, in which Dragon now flying up and over top of the International Space Station.
Copies. We are seeing data on the Dragon docking monitor, and we copy 10:30 for the new docking time.
See it ever so faintly illuminating the International Space Station as it continues.
Houston on the big loop. Dragon is transmitting docking camera video. Please confirm video and data updating
there
on
the big loop
monitor.
Between the teams in Houston
also,
and
we have a new
SpaceX
docking time of 10:30.
Dragon Grace and the confirmations of the updated docking time. You heard the words 10:30. That's 10:30 Zulu,
monitor, and we copy 10:30 for the new docking
as we had mentioned, 5:30 a.m. Central, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, as we return to that exciting view from Dragon looking up at the International Space Station. You can ever so faintly see the solar arrays coming into view, and that strobe light illuminating the radiators, which are right along that central portion in time, angling upwards. 10:30. That's 10:30 Zulu, which Central Time is 5:30, as we had mentioned, 5:30 a.m. Central. The International Space Station and the Dragon spacecraft now approaching the return to that west coast of North America at the International Space Station, right around the Seattle area, that solar array border between the United States and Canada, and that strobe light approaching 1 minute away from waypoint 1, right along the second checkpoint, central portion, and second series of waypoints for the spacecraft to reach to. The teams have already pulled go, but we will listen for the call outs for that waypoint 1 arrival.
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop, approach 1 and soft capture ring extension will begin shortly.
West coast
Dragon
of
will
North
continue approach to
America,
waypoint 2. As a reminder, manual impulsive retreat recovery
between the United
is
States
not
and
permitted.
Canada, as we are approaching 1 minute away from waypoint 1.
And Dragon copy
second checkpoint and second series of waypoints for the spacecraft to reach to. The teams have already pulled go, but we will listen for the call outs for that waypoint 1 arrival. And there you heard
SpaceX on the big
communications
loop,
on the big loop about that soft capture ring,
will begin shortly.
and that is the
Dragon will continue
initial
approach
contact
to waypoint
that will
2.
occur between the Dragon
As a reminder,
spacecraft
manual impulsive
and the
retreat
International Space
recovery
Station. A
is not
soft
permitted.
capture, with that soft capture ring then retracting, and the 12 hooks
And Dragon copies all.
that will drive and connect and form a hard mate between the spacecraft and the International Space Station. From there, power communications will then be connected up, and astronaut Nicole Ayers about that soft capture make her way, and that is into the initial contact, pressurized mating adapter, and get ready for hatch opening procedures, which will require capture, bringing that soft capture the vestibule, the space between the two hatches between the International Space Station and the Dragon Grace together, and form a hard mate between the spacecraft and the International Space Station. The orbital sunrise power making its way over top of the International Space Station. Astronaut Nicole Ayers will make her way, continue their pursuit of each other, now angling over at North America, and get ready for hatch opening procedures, which will require bringing the vestibule, the space between the two hatches between the International Space Station and Dragon Grace together. And there we see the orbital sunrise making its way there in the center screen. If you look at the topmost the Dragon now perfectly aligned over top of the International Space Station, now looking each other down at that Node 2 Zenith port, and a great view just off the bottom portion there. That is the Dragon Endurance spacecraft that it'll be just alongside of. So Dragon has reached waypoint 0, and on initial comms earlier that the teams on the ground, center screen, once reaching waypoint 1, have been allowed to bypass that waypoint and now move on to waypoint 2, which will be in about 9 minutes from now, and targeting docking just off the bottom portion there, about 14.5 minutes from there. Spacecraft go no-go poles for docking, just about 7 minutes as the teams on the ground continuing to monitor Dragon's progress. Waypoint 0, once they arrive to waypoint 2, there will be a pause, make sure everything is lined up ground just perfectly before that final approach, and have been allowed to bypass that waypoint and now move on to waypoint 2, which will be in about 9 minutes from now, and targeting docking in about 14.5 minutes from there. Go no-go poles for docking in about 7 minutes as the teams on the ground continuing to monitor Dragon's progress. And once they arrive to waypoint 2, there will be a pause, make sure everything is lined up just perfectly before that final approach and docking. This is Mission Control Houston, as Dragon Grace and the spacecraft carrying Axiom Mission 4 and their 4 astronauts continuing their approach to the International Space Station. They have just made their way past waypoint 1, which had them at 220 meters away from the space-facing port of the International Space Station's Harmony module, and now on the path to reach waypoint 2. Teams on the ground have concurred or agreed that they will take a brief pause at waypoint 2, which is 20 meters away, and their 4 astronauts make sure everything is aligned precisely. Station there you see made their way past waypoint 1 from Dragon, and that which had them At 220 newly illuminated International Space Station as the two craft International Space Station's navigating its way over North America, coming into an orbital sunrise and waypoint daytime period, have concurred or agreed that they will take a brief pause at waypoint 2, which is 20 meters away, to make sure everything is aligned precisely. And there you see the view from Dragon, and that newly illuminated International Space Station as the two craft navigating its way over North America, coming into an orbital sunrise and daytime period.
All right, so we're counting down to that historic moment when Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla becomes the first Indian to be on the International Space Station. Viewers, it's going to be a 14-day stay at the International Space Station. The process, of course, we will see that in a few minutes the process should have begun, and it's a successful launch. It was a successful launch yesterday after much delays. Now it's a big challenge, of course. Docking in itself is a process, and it's largely automated, but this again involves many intricate steps, and they do, of course, demand pinpoint accuracy. And of course, there will be, it starts with the phasing burn. It uses thrusters. The Dragon capsule raises its orbit to align with the ISS, which cruises around 418 kilometers above Earth. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, followed by a series of burns, boost, close co-elliptic transfer, and a final co-elliptic adjustment. Now bringing Dragon to a position just 2.5 kilometers below the station. An out-of-plane burn then corrects any lateral drift, aligning Dragon with the ISS docking axis. This is a whole procedure, and we're tracking that from the live stream via NASA's Axiom 4. This is the YouTube stream that is right now showing us the path, the procedure. And these maneuvers, remember, are executed autonomously without the crew input, relies on navigation sensors and computer calculations to avoid any risky approach or any fast risky approach. But this is very important. The final approach is complex, and there are many points to be kept in mind. They have to be passed there. This is an entire process altogether, so everybody is waiting with a bated breath that the docking is successful. The targeted docking for the Axiom 4 capsule will be the space-facing port of the station's Harmony module. And remember, there's going to be welcome by the permanent crew at the ISS. So there will be a welcome from the crew members there. Final welcome will happen, of course, when the hatch is open to the ISS. New crew members will float into the module, and the incoming crew will undergo initial medical checks and safety briefings, and scientific experiments will be activated, because around 60 experiments are going to be conducted there. Shubhanshu Shukla will also be doing many India-centric experiments as well. Remember, this is a very important experience for Shubhanshu Shukla, Group Captain Shukla, because he is also chosen for the Gaganyaan mission, India's first human space mission, and he is now getting this experience ahead of that Gaganyaan mission. So it becomes very, very important for India, for the ISRO. And of course, there are going to be many other such crucial experiments that will be now be conducted after successful docking of the spacecraft. We saw Shubhanshu Shukla today. He was talking about he did namaskar from the space, and of course talking about how he's feeling, how he's learning like a baby, how to walk and eat in space. A steady and solid step towards India's human space program. He continues to emphasize on the Indian human space program. That is, of course, something that will be very, very historic. And Group Captain Shukla, of course, knows that, and he is a part of that. And it becomes very important for the ISRO. Now, as we count down to the docking process, viewers, we'll try and get you more understanding of this. entire procedure. But these are live visuals coming in of the Axiom docking. And these are live updates also coming in on Republic TV. It's a historic moment. And in a few minutes from now, we're going to see Group Captain Shukla along with his crew members on the Dragon spacecraft on the ISS, that is the International Space Station. And what we understand is that they are just about to start with the docking process and short while from now. And we will continue to get you more updates because the countdown has begun. ISS will be welcoming Shuks, as he's known, Group Captain Shukla, and his other team members on the Dragon. We'll be right back with more.
Just the spacecraft towards the orbiting laboratory, 7.5 minutes away from the approximate docking time, as Dragon will move smoothly past waypoint 2, about 20 meters away. And continuing its fine-tuning and approach, you see little plumes coming off the spacecraft. Dragon continuing to get bigger and bigger from the viewpoint of the International Space Station. Adjust the spacecraft waypoint 2, laboratory. About 90 seconds away, and there it'll be just a mere 20 meters away. And there, the spacecraft will focus on aligning its docking system with the docking adapter, and then fly in to make the initial contact and give us what we will call that soft capture, or the soft capture ring will retract. And then the hooks will drive to form the hard and bigger from the viewpoint of the International Space Station. And that capture, or that initial contact, about coming in about 6 minutes from now, it'll be just a mere 20 meters away. And there, the spacecraft will focus on aligning its docking system with the docking adapter, and then fly in to make the initial contact and give us what we will call that soft capture, or the soft capture ring will retract. And then the hooks will drive to form the hard mate. And that capture, or that initial contact, coming in about 6 minutes from now. Approaching 30 seconds away from waypoint 2 arrival, in which the Dragon spacecraft will be about 20 meters away, just called out 30 meters, so continuing its close in to the International Space Station.
Yes, they have it.
Dragon Grace now 25 meters away. Approaching 30 seconds away from waypoint 2 arrival, in which the Dragon spacecraft will be about 20 meters away, just called out 30 meters, so continuing its close in to the International Space Station. Dragon Grace now 25 meters away. Dragon has now reached waypoint 2, 20 meters away from the International Space Station, and will continue its approach to the International Space Station. And there you can see a great view of that zenith port, that space-facing port of the International Space Station's Dragon Harmony module. Waypoint 2, 20 meters away from the International Space Station. Dragon spacecraft right now sitting at waypoint 2, and just 20 meters away to the International Space Station.
Houston Station per step 4 in Block Bravo. Dragon attitude is as expected.
You can see a great view of that
Houston copies.
zenith port, that space-facing port of the International Space Station's Harmony module.
Station Houston on the Big Loop. Dragon is on final approach and is go for docking. Monitor
right
per
now,
steps 5 and 6 and
1.2,
1.102.
meters away.
Houston copies, monitoring per steps 5 and 6. Houston Station per step 4 in Block Bravo. Dragon attitude is as expected.
Houston copies.
And there you heard it. The final steps relayed up to the crew for Final approach and docking have been given.
Dragon is on final approach and is go for docking.
Dragon
Monitor
Grace
for steps 5 and 6
close
and
the gap
1.102.
between them and the International Space Station.
You can copy. He's monitoring for steps 5 and 6.
Now, just before the spacecraft reaches the international docking adapter for that soft capture, you'll hear the call out chop or crew hands off have been given. As we continue to, which Dragon will see Dragon continue its journey and make that initial connection, that soft capture in those final few moments. Space Station. Now, just before the spacecraft reaches the international docking adapter for that soft capture, you'll hear the call out chop or crew hands off point, which Dragon will continue its journey and make that initial connection, that soft capture in those final few moments.
SpaceX Dragon, 10 meters.
10 meters.
Inside 10 meters, a little less now than 30 feet away, is all that separates Dragon Grace from the International Space Station.
SpaceX Dragon, 10 meters.
10 meters.
Inside 10 meters, a little less now than 30 feet away, is all that separates Dragon Grace from the International Space Station.
Five meters.
5 meters.
Five meters.
5 meters.
Meters. Chop.
2 meters.
Station. 2 meters. Chop.
We have chop.
1 meter.
1 meter.
2 meters. Chop.
2 meters.
Station. 2 meters. Chop.
We have chop.
1 meter.
Dragon contact and soft capture complete. 1 meter.
Dragon copy.
Dragon Grace and the Axiom Mission 4 crew have arrived to the International Space Station at 5:31 a.m. Central Time over the North Atlantic as the two orbiting around the Earth, connecting with the soft capture ring, and now we'll begin the ring retraction to bring the two vehicles closer together, and then the 12 hooks, the two sets of 6, will drive to form a hard nut. Dragon Grace and the Axiom Mission 4 crew have arrived to the International Space Station at 5:31 a.m. Central Time. And there, the soft capture ring is retracting, and will do so until sensors are indicating it's time for those hooks to drive in place and give us a hard capture and firmly secure Dragon to station. Bring the two vehicles closer together, and then the 12 hooks, the 2 sets of 6 will drive in a hard Axiom Mission 4, and its commander Peggy Whitson, pilot Shubhanshu Shukla of ISRO, and mission specialist Sławosz Uznański-Wiśniewski. There you heard there the soft capture ring Kapu of ISA and Hunor have arrived to the International Space Station, indicating it's time for those hooks contact at 5:31 a.m. Central, 6:31 a.m. Eastern, as the two were orbiting over the North Atlantic. And again, Axiom Mission 4 and its commander Peggy Whitson, pilot Shubhanshu Shukla of ISRO, and mission specialist Sławosz Uznański-Wiśniewski and Tibor Kapu of ISA and Hunor have arrived to the International Space Station with contact at 5:31 a.m. Central, 6:31 a.m. Eastern, as the two were orbiting over the North Atlantic. The soft capture ring, that initial contact between Dragon Grace and the International Space Station, continuing to retract, and we'll await for the calls that the sensors read that it will be time for those 12 hooks on the Dragon to then begin driving and connecting itself to form a hard mate to the International Space Station. The soft capture ring, that initial contact between Dragon Grace and the International Space Station, continuing to retract, and we'll await for the calls that the sensors read that it will be time for those 12 hooks on the Dragon to then begin driving and connecting itself to form a hard mate to the International Space Station.
And that's the moment that all of us have been waiting for. The Dragon has docked. Axiom 4 has docked at the International Space Station. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, now the first Indian on board the ISS, or the International Space Station. What a moment, ladies and gentlemen. The docking, what you're looking at right now on the big screen, that's the Dragon spacecraft that is docked. This is the process of two spacecraft connecting in orbit. It has docked at the ISS. It has connected with the International Space Station. And in that small window that you see there, that's Shambhu Dayal Shukla, the father, sister Nidhi Mishra, and the mother of Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, watching this proud moment from Lucknow. We are waiting for the first image that will show you the transfer of the crew. That's the next step, Rakshita. The Absolutely. 4 crew members will now be transferred to the International Space Center.
Absolutely, it's a historic moment. The first Indian on the International Space Station, and the Dragon crew vehicle named Grace has made a graceful docking, we understand, without any hiccups, we see, because that has its own challenges. But there you have the visual of the docking. This spacecraft is docked, and the International Space Station crew will be welcoming Captain Shubhanshu Shukla and others.
At 5:31 a.m. Central Time, 6:31 a.m. Eastern, as the two were orbiting above the North Atlantic. And right now, the two mated with that soft capture, the soft capture ring retracting to pull the spacecraft closer. Teams on the ground in both Houston.
Station Houston on the big loop. MCS configured, proceeding with hook driving.
Around the Dragon nose cone will drive and connect to form a hard mate. And the great call there, that's the next step in this docking procedure, is the driving of the hooks, the 12 hooks surrounding the nose cone, or the nose of the Dragon spacecraft. And we'll monitor those. They'll drive in 2 sets of 6. Teams on the ground in both Houston.
Station Houston on the big loop. MCS
the first set of 6 right now. They're traveling. And we'll continue to follow along as the docking process continues on. And the great call there, that's the next step in this docking procedure, is the driving of that first set of 6. The second set, 12 hooks surrounding the drive and connect the nose of the Dragon space to form a hard mate to the International Space Station. And once the docking is complete, NASA astronauts Anne McLean and Nicole Ayers, who have been monitoring from the International Space Station from the cupola right now, they're traveling the Dragon's arrival. Continue to follow the Ayers that'll begin the hatch opening or hatch operations. And that'll start by opening up the main hatch on the Node 2 Zenith. And after that section of the Harmony module, that's what you see Dragon connected to. Dragon to form a what's separating that module and the Dragon spacecraft is that, and once the docking is complete, NASA astronauts Anne McLean and Nicole Ayers, who have been monitoring from the International Space Station from the cupola of the Dragon's arrival, it'll be Ayers that'll begin the hatch opening or hatch operations, and continuing to monitor that first set of 6 hooks, and that'll start forming that hard mate the main hatch on the Node 2 Zenith section of the Harmony module. That's what, and once the full set of 12. And Ayers will continue module and the Dragon docking procedures with the leak checks, and then begin making its way into the pressurized mating adapter. That's what you see between the Harmony module and the Dragon spacecraft, and accessing to monitor that first set of 6 hooks to then what we begin pressurizing the vestibule, that small compartment between the 2 hatches. And that vestibule has been exposed to the vacuum of space prior to Dragon Grace's arrival. So the next step is to carefully reintroduce that air and pressure inside, so it matches both that of the station and the Dragon. That's spacecraft. What you see between the Harmony module, and we just received confirmation that Dragon spacecraft first set of 6 hooks have access into there, driven and closed, and we'll now begin the second set of 6 to continue that hard mate small compartment between the Dragon spacecraft and the International Space Station. And that vestibule has been exposed to the vacuum of space prior to Dragon Grace's arrival, so the next step is to carefully reintroduce that air and pressure inside, so it matches both that of the station and the Dragon spacecraft. And we just received confirmation that the first set of 6 hooks have driven and closed, and we'll now begin the second set of 6 to continue that hard mate between the Dragon spacecraft and the International Space Station. If you are just joining us, this is Mission Control Houston, where Axiom Mission 4 aboard the Dragon Grace spacecraft have connected to the International Space Station at 5:31 a.m. Central Time, currently in the process from soft capture to the hard mate to the orbiting laboratory. First set of 6 hooks have closed, and now monitoring that second set of 6, 12 in total, to form that hard mate. If you are just joining us, this is Mission Control Houston, where Axiom Mission 4 aboard the Dragon Grace spacecraft have connected to the International Space Station at 5:31 a.m. Central Time, currently in the process from soft capture to the hard mate to the orbiting laboratory. First set of 6 hooks have closed, and now monitoring that second set of 6, 12 in total,
Dragon
to form that hard mate.
On the big loop, hard capture complete.
Dragon copies. Hard capture complete.
And we just heard confirmation there. All 12 hooks have closed, and that is a hard mate to the Dragon Grace spacecraft and the International Space Station, completing from soft capture to that hard mate. And these
Dragon copies. Hard capture complete.
So the soft capture ring retraction in progress, and then it'll be on to establishing umbilical connections between the spacecraft and the International Space Station. That'll allow for
we just heard confirmation
transfer of communications and power through those umbilicals. So we're Dragon. You see that the upper portion that's mostly black against the vacuum of space, but that's the solar arrays to provide Dragon power. Once those umbilicals are connected, that power will then be provided by the International Space Station, and communications will have that hardline connection. Capture ring retraction in progress, and then it'll be on to establishing umbilical connections between the spacecraft and the International Space Station. That'll allow for the once those umbilicals, communications and power through those umbilicals have been connected, that'll complete the docking process, and that's when NASA astronauts Sam McLean and Nicole Ayers, namely Ayers, will jump into action and begin the leak checks. That power will then be opening procedures space station, and communications will allow the pressurization of the vestibule, the space between the Dragon spacecraft and the International Space Station, to be brought to pressure equal to that of what is inside station and inside the Dragon spacecraft, about 14 psi. What you experience here on Earth as sea level. That'll complete and then from there the hatch operations will continue. Astronauts Sam McLean and Nicole Ayers, namely Ayers, will jump the Axiom and Mission 4 team. Leak checks and make its way on board the International Space Station and that'll welcome remarks soon to follow. The vestibule, the space between the Dragon spacecraft and the International Space Station, to be brought to pressure equal to that of what is inside station and inside the Dragon spacecraft, about 14 psi. What you experience here on Earth as soft capture ring has now been stowed away, and the umbilicals are in motion again to connect Dragon and Grace and the International Space Station, providing that communications, a direct line of communications station and power. Welcome remarks soon to follow.
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. Docking sequence complete. Ground will be enabling hardline power and comm connections shortly. You are go to DOS suits per procedure 4.012 and begin post-docking cabin configuration per 4.400 in parallel.
Kentucky, docking complete. 4.012 and 4.400 are in work. And
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. Docking sequence complete. Ground will be enabling hardline power and comm connections shortly. You are go to dock suits per procedure 4.012 and begin post-docking cabin configuration per 4.400 in parallel.
Looking forward to it. Kentucky, docking complete. 4.012 and 4.400 are in work. And Grace is happy to be on Harmony.
Grace Station, we are excited to welcome you. Peggy, Shug, Suave, and Tibor. We cannot wait to open the hatch and give you guys a hug. We'll see you soon.
Looking forward to it.
And Axiom 4 from Houston, welcome aboard the International Space Station. It's an honor to have you join our outpost of international cooperation and exploration.
We are honored to be here. Thank you.
Very exciting moment for all those aboard.
Another standing ovation in a few minutes from now, when our one, the only, the greatest Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, our very own Shooks, enters the ISS.
All right, so we are just waiting for
that we are waiting for the crew to, in fact, be visible. Because there will be, of course, shots that will be, of course, put out there. The hatch will be opened, and the checks are underway as we speak. The space crew, we hope that we will get visuals of them very, very soon. But this hard capture is underway right now as we speak. And it's a historic moment. First Indian on the International Space Station, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla. And, of course, we're getting in more updates. Let's take a listen in to those that live
Private
stream.
astronaut mission with Peggy Whitson, who you just heard talking on the big loop, the single line of communications between all four parties, sharing her excitement as she returned, bringing up first-time flyers and pilot Shubhanshu Shukla of ISRO and mission specialist Sławosz Uznański-Wiśniewski of ESA and Tibor Kapu of Hunor. Contact between the two, between Dragon Grace and the International Space Station at 5:31 a.m. Central Time. And now that the hooks have connected, all 12 and umbilicals deployed, providing power and communications. Now the team inside the International Space Station, namely Nicole Ayers, is going to start beginning the hatch opening procedures. And now that we're docked, she will secure some hardware and then move right into those operations. And first we'll open the large hatch at the Node 2 Zenith, or the space-facing port side of the Harmony module. And that's what you see, similar to where that NASA logo is. That's the Harmony module. That pressurized mating adapter is jettisoning up into and connecting to the Dragon Grace spacecraft. And then from there, she'll traverse into that pressurized mating adapter, and we'll begin pressurizing the vestibule, which is that small space between the hatches on Dragon and the space station. And we have talked about this has been exposed to vacuum prior to docking, and we'll need to fill that space with air to make sure that pressure is equal with the atmospheric pressures on Dragon and the International Space Station. Also putting away some hardware in the process, including the docking across. And Ayers will use a small valve on the station's hatch to slowly introduce that air into the vestibule. And flight controllers here in Houston will continue to monitor the pressure and temperature readings inside and verify that everything is A-OK and leak-free before we get ready to open up the hatches. From that capture moment, which again was 5:31 a.m. Central, 6:31 a.m. Eastern over the North Atlantic. It takes roughly about 2 hours to get everything pressurized and checked out before we open up the hatches and welcome in Axiom Mission 4 to the International Space Station.
Commentator and producer at SpaceX Dragon on the big loop. Com check on the cabin mic.
Peggy, I have you loud and clear on the cabin mic on the big loop. Dragon, SpaceX on Dragon Aground. That call on the cabin mic actually came over Dragon Aground.
Thanks for the catch. We reconfigured.
That's a live coverage from the International Space Station. Axiom 4 has docked, and the astronauts plan to spend the next 2 weeks aboard the orbiting laboratory, which is the ISS, conducting a mission comprised of science, outreach, even commercial activities, 60 experiments from 31 countries. And the mission has the first ISRO astronaut, the first Indian astronaut at the International Space Station, as part of a joint effort between NASA and ISRO. And this mission carries the first astronauts also from Poland and Hungary to stay aboard the space station. Let's cut across live to the live commentary from ISS.
Communication lines provided by the International Space Station. And now looking at approximately 8:35 a.m. Central Time for welcome remarks, and shortly after, the Axiom Mission 4 team make their way through the hatchway and into the International Space Station. The docking procedures between the soft capture ring, the hooks, and umbilicals have been completed.
On the big loop, node 2 overhead hatch is open.
Houston copies.
And a good call there down from NASA astronaut Nicole Ayers, saying that she has opened up the hatch for the node 2 zenith way, the space-facing side of the Harmony module, to give her access to the pressurized mating adapter. And there she will cruise in to begin work on the hatch opening procedures and pressurizing
and
the vestibule.
Dragon Houston on the big loop. We are troubleshooting the big loop audio comm issues from earlier, and the action we're about to take will take down big loop comm between ISS and the Axiom crew for about 5 minutes. We may require additional comm checks after.
Station copies.
Dragon copy.
Communications there on the big loop between the teams here in Houston and up to the International Space Station as they troubleshoot some communications. And the big loop that you have been hearing that have connected everyone here inside of Mission Control Houston and the International Space Station Flight Control Room, those aboard the space station and inside the SpaceX Dragon Grace spacecraft, and the teams in Hawthorne, California, those 4 parties, that's the big loop. They will troubleshoot those communications for about 5 minutes and then recheck. But you heard just prior to that NASA astronauts Anne McLean and Nicole Ayers have begun the hatch opening procedures, in which the large hatch at the Node 2 Zenith, that's the space-facing side of the Harmony module, has been opened, and that will allow for them to begin the hatch opening procedures and pressurize the vestibule, which is what, in addition to the comms checks, we will monitor, as Ayers will use a small valve on the station's hatch to slowly introduce air into the vestibule. That's the gap between the Dragon spacecraft and the International Space Station that has been exposed to vacuum. And from there, they will match the pressure, the atmosphere inside both station and Dragon. And this procedure for a hatch opening usually takes about 2 hours or so to perform leak checks and make sure every connection and everything is safe and sealed.
On the big loop. In step 2.4, the time is 10:56. The APAS equalization valve is back closed.
Houston copies. That's a good config. Expect at least 15 minutes before we continue.
Copies.
And that communication between the International Space Station and the International Space Station Flight Control Room, and you heard the word APAS hatch. That is the hatch, again, that they will be operating and looking to open up from the space station side. But in doing so, they will need to pressurize, as we've been talking about, the vestibule, and then allow for the atmospheres to match between the Dragon Grace spacecraft and Axiom Mission 4 crew, the vestibule itself, and the International Space Station all equal throughout to allow for the parties to pass through for the hatch opening and eventual welcome remarks. The contact for Axiom Mission 4 to the International Space Station about a half an hour ago at 5:31 a.m. Central, 6:31 a.m. Eastern. And as they continue to configure the hatch opening procedures for NASA astronaut Anne McClain and Nicole Ayers, between the two of them, we'll continue to work those procedures and we'll hear those communications throughout in anticipation of Axiom Mission 4 and Commander Peggy Whitson making her return to the International Space Station, her 5th flight, 2nd as a member of Axiom Space and the commander of Axiom Mission 4, and her previous 3 as a NASA astronaut servicing key missions to the International Space Station. And a big part of the coming up in November 25 years of continuous operations and humans on board the orbiting laboratory. And there she will welcome also first-time flyers and pilot Shubhanshu Shukla of ISRO, Sławomir Uznański-Wiśniewski of ESA, and Tibor Kapu of Hunor for Shukla, Uznański-Wiśniewski, and Kapu representing India, Poland, and Hungary. This will be those nations' first time visiting the orbiting laboratory. And with that, from Axiom Mission 1 through Axiom Mission 4, the International Space Station will have welcomed 14 different private astronaut crew members representing 11 different nations, showing how private astronaut missions truly expand access to the International Space Station for more nations, people, and opportunities. And on your screen, you see the clock counting upwards at the bottom, the T+, that is 1 day, 4 hours, 28 minutes, and now
SpaceX Dragon.
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. Dragon SpaceX comm check on Dragon to ground.
SpaceX Dragon from the cabin mic on Dragon to ground.
Peggy, I'm with you on Dragon to ground.
Did you call for me, or did I misunderstand?
I was returning your call.
Okay, stand by for inventory.
Copy, standing by.
Comm checks and communications there between the teams in Hawthorne, California and SpaceX and the SpaceX Dragon Grace spacecraft. As we heard earlier that they were troubleshooting some communications and looking to bring back on the big loop that connects the teams on the ground in SpaceX and NASA, as well as the teams in the International Space Station and the Dragon spacecraft itself.
SpaceX Dragon 4, inventory reporting on Dragon to ground.
And I'm with you on Dragon to ground. We are about to enter a LOS period for about 4 minutes, so we'll need to stand by.
communications between SpaceX and the crew aboard the SpaceX Dragon Gray spacecraft, saying they are upcoming on a period of LOS, or loss of signal, that's anticipated as the International Space Station and the spacecraft orbiting around the Earth and transfer of satellite signals. Right now they are making their way over the southern Indian Ocean and about to head into a period of orbital nighttime, as we will get back views as soon as we have them. And again, the spacecraft carrying Axiom and Mission 4 and the 4 private astronauts.
ये लॉकिंग भी सेफली हो गई है जिसका जी हमारी बात उनके लॉन्च होने से पहले तो उनकी यहाँ से सी ऑफ लिफ्ट ऑफ होने से पहले बात हुई थी एंड वो बहुत खुश और कॉन्फिडेंट थे। वो बोल रहे थे कि वो पहुँचेंगे और अपना काम अच्छे से करेंगे, जो उन्होंने करके दिखाया है। आई एम श्योर। थैंक यू।
दुनिया की नजर उन पर रही सफल लैंडिंग के बाद, कैसे देख रहे हैं आप लोग, कैसा
इसी सफलता का वेट कर रहे थे जो उन्होंने करके दिखाया है एंड आई एम सुपरबली प्राउड राइट नाउ एंड दैट्स ऑल आई कैन से अभी। थैंक यू।
वहाँ पहुँचने तक थोड़ा सा
Approximately 8:35 a.m. Central Time, 9:35 a.m. Eastern Time. Certainly an exciting moment for all of us here in Mission Control, but we want to check back in with our team over in Hawthorne as Axiom Mission 4 has arrived to the International Space Station.
For as many times as we have had the privilege of supporting crews headed to and from.
All right, so the process has begun, and the post-docking process, in fact, is right now underway. The umbilical cords between the Crew Dragon spacecraft and the ISS have been connected so that the power and communication line can be connected, and it will take time when we actually get to see those visuals of Shubhanshu Shukla and crew there. Meanwhile, the parents are rejoicing, the family of Shubhanshu Shukla rejoicing. And let's take a listen to what sister is saying.
मैं तो यही चाहूँगी कि वो बार-बार जाएं और बार-बार खुश अच्छा फील करें जैसा वो फील कर रहे थे।
राकेश शर्मा के बाद दूसरी ये सफलता है जो भारत की
जी
मैडम
एक सेकंड
एक एग्जाम देने गए
एक सेकंड प्लीज
परिवार को अचानक वो चले गए आराम से भैया आराम से
एंड आई रिक्वेस्ट यू प्लीज
आप लोग मेरी बात सुनो सीधा 1 घंटे बाद रुक के जाएंगे आप प्लीज ऐसे मत चलिए समझिए बात को हम आप लोग के लिए लेकिन टेबल कितना आगे आ गया है
बहुत खुशी है बहुत अपने को जो है बहुत अच्छा महसूस कर रहे हैं बच्चे ने सफल उसके जो है डॉकिंग हुई है इसके लिए हम जो है ईश्वर को बहुत बहुत जो है धन्यवाद करते हैं बहुत प्रणाम करते हैं उसको बहुत हम जो है उसको इसी के लिए प्रार्थना की थी कि ईश्वर ने हमारे बच्चे पर जो है पूरी छत्र छाया है उसकी और उसके लिए हम ईश्वर को जो है पूरी तरह से अपने दिल से जो है शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं।
आप लोगों ने आपने पूरा बैठ के लाइव प्रसारण देखा, कैसा लगा?
बहुत अच्छा लगा बहुत हम प्रसन्न हैं हमारे बच्चे के जो है भी लैंडिंग हुई है कायदे से जो है डॉकिंग हो गई ये बहुत खुशी की बात है ये बहुत ही अहम पड़ाव था उसके लिए उसने जो है अच्छी तरह उसने मेहनत करके जो भी सक्सेस प्राप्त की है उसके लिए हम बहुत खुश हैं और बच्चे पर गर्व है हमें पूरा अपने बच्चे पर गर्व है और बच्चा बोल्ड है शुरू से ही बताया तो कि स्कूल का जो है ये सब महिमा स्कूल की है हम लोग भी हैं मगर स्कूल ने बहुत कुछ दिया उसे इतनी बोल्डनेस जो है बहुत
मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ से मुलाकात करवानी
अब उनका प्रोग्राम है उसमें जाएंगे मिलेंगे जाके उन जो बुलाया है तो जाएंगे अभी यहीं निकलेंगे हम
आप ये जो है मैम कैसे हो पीछे कुछ हो रही है लाइव लैंडिंग की है सफल लैंडिंग के बाद कैसा लग रहा है डॉक्टर का कितना बड़ा दिन है कितना खुशी का पल है आपको
जो उनका तरीका है काम करने का कि जब वो किसी काम का लेते हैं रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी तो उसको फुल फ्लेजेड पूरा करते हैं तो मैं यही मनाऊंगी कि वो पूरा काम करके अच्छे से सेफली वापस अर्थ पे आए
वहाँ भी सुभांशु ने जो ड्रैगन स्पेस है उसको भी उन्होंने हैंडल किया पायलट बन के गए सबको लेकर गए हैं लेके जाने और लेके आने की जिम्मेदारी है।
जी बिल्कुल हम लोग यही कह रहे थे कि ऑफ कोर्स ये एक म्यूचुअल कोलैबोरेशन है और बहुत सारे लोगों का एफर्ट है नॉट ओनली दीज 4 बहुत सारे बैक स्टेज एम्प्लॉय होते हैं जिनका भी एफर्ट होता है बट हम उनको यही बोले थे कि वो पायलट हैं तो वो उन तीनों लोगों को लेके जा रहे हैं एक इंडियन जो है वो बहुत फॉरनर्स को लेके स्पेस में जा रहा है विच इज़ अ बिग थिंग
बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका
बहुत ज़्यादा ऑफ कोर्स और यही प्राउड फीलिंग हमारे अंदर है कि ये मौका बहुत मुश्किलों से मिलता है
भाई से मिलने
बिल्कुल पूरी तरीके से ऑफ कोर्स आई एम जस्ट वेटिंग फॉर इट।
मैं देख रहा हूँ काफी कल भी आप लोग इमोशन में डूबी थे और आज भी ऐसा लग रहा है।
बिल्कुल, ये मोमेंट ही ऐसा है, समझ ही में नहीं आता है कि कैसे रिएक्ट किया जाए इस पे। खुशी भी हो रही है, थोड़ी घबराहट भी हो रही है, लेकिन बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है ऑफ कोर्स। थैंक यू।
So that's the family erupting in celebrations, of course, in Lucknow. And in fact, viewers, we continue with our rolling coverage on this historic moment that India is witnessing. For more on this, we have Dr. Sheshagiri Rao Velanki. In fact, we just will cut across to what the mother of Captain Shukla is saying. TV is getting you reactions from exclusive reactions from the family right after the docking process is completed. Axiom crew completes docking and the post-docking procedure has kick-started. Post-docking cabin configuration has begun and the umbilical cords connected between Crew Dragon and the ISS. Remember, it's Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla who's in fact the pilot of this flight. It has now successfully docked. First Indian at the International Space Station. There is lots in store for the next 14 days. We'll get you the reaction of the family. Meanwhile, I go across to my guest, Dr. Sheshagiri Rao Velanki, former Associate Director of SDSC SHAR, ISRO, and he has deep insights on the Axiom 4 mission. Dr. Rao Velanki, well, this is a historic moment, a first Indian on the International Space Station, sir. How do you feel right now, because this is unprecedented, and also what's in store for the next 14 days, because there are going to be at least 60 experiments in 14 days, and Shubhanshu Shukla, who's also going to be our Gaganaut, will be focusing on India related or ISRO related projects as well. All right, I'll just go across to you, sir. We have the mother's reaction to Republic TV also coming in.
बहुत कुछ
नहीं नहीं नहीं, बहू हमारी बहू बहुत अच्छी है, उसने उसी की वजह से ये मिशन सफल हो पाया है। अगर इतना है, इतना ना होता तो ये मिशन सफल होना नहीं कंप्लीट होता, अगर वो ना होती। बहुत समझदार, हाँ, उसका जो है बहुत ज़्यादा जो है इसमें सहयोग है बहू का।
आज जो अभी जो सफलतापूर्वक 100% ये जो हुआ है,
हाँ हाँ,
वाकई में बहुत ही शानदार ये
प्रदर्शन है, बहुत ज़्यादा लैंडिंग शानदार हुई, बहुत ज़्यादा।
14 दिन वहीं रहेंगे, यानी जिस देश से गए हैं,
हाँ हाँ,
अब उसको वो
खोजेंगे वहाँ पे, जो भी एक्सपेरिमेंट करने वो करेंगे वहाँ पे। उसके बाद फिर
भगवान से आप प्रार्थना करेंगे उनके सारे सपने वहाँ पूरे हों। जो
प्रार्थना तो वैसे भी रोज करते हैं, बच्चे के लिए ही प्रार्थना है, और हमारे पास काम ही क्या है अब बच्चे के लिए ही प्रार्थना करनी है, बस बस अब उसी का इंतजार।
अच्छा, बड़ी बात ये है कि पायलट बन के गए, सभी तीनों लोगों को लेके गए, लेके आएंगे, बड़ी जिम्मेदारी,
बड़ी खुशी की बात है कि इंडियन सबको लेके गया ऊपर पायलट।
नाम है कि अमेरिका के फ्लोरिडा से गए, लेकिन ले गए हैं शुभांशु
भारत के,
लेके गए,
लेके आएंगे।
अच्छा लगता है,
बहुत बहुत गर्व महसूस होता है, बहुत।
So the family, of course, has all the reason to be proud. The entire country is proud of Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, and family, of course, are also very emotional right now. Republic TV speaking to the mother of Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla and the sister, Shuji Mishra, as well. Okay, we have Dr. Sheshagiri Rao Velanki. Sir, you know, this is a historic moment, but I want to understand from you what really happens after the docking process. Right now, as we speak, what would be happening in this spacecraft, and what is in store for the next 14 days?
Yeah, actually, it is a proud and exciting moment, and not only for the family members, but the entire country, citizens. It is a fantastic moment, and especially for youth and school children, it is something motivating them towards the advanced R&D. And Shubhanshu Shukla has demonstrated very nicely. The docking has been completed. All of us know that for docking, we know that the spacecraft, both the ISS and as well as the Dragon, will take around 91 minutes, 1.5 hours to make one orbit. So this particular docking activity, they do it in the daytime in the first 45 minutes. Right now, after the completion of the docking, the combined ISS and Dragon put together is moving into the shadow, the darker zone now. So that means the next activity is completely internal. So as we have seen that there are 12 hooks which are to be mated in a tight manner so that it is sealed from the vacuum, so outer vacuum will not enter. And there is a vestibule where the let us say once the docking is completed, the vestibule is exposed to the vacuum, and once let us say this docking is complete and sealed, the vestibule weather has to be brought to the normal weather conditions of human being livings. So that will be going on now, and in the meanwhile all the umbilical connections related for voice, power, and as well as many other communication and computer links will be completed, and they will be done automatically. And you know there is this particular docking is on the Harmony port actually. This is called the Harmony port area, and once the annex or the vestibule is pressurized, then the Dragon side door will be, or the latch will be ready to open, and similarly the ISS side also will be ready to open. So normally earlier we have seen that first they used to open the ISS side to verify the complete pressurization as well as the conditioning of the vestibule is concerned. Once that is done and they give a green signal, and the green lamp will go green, and then the 4 astronauts from Dragon will enter one after the other into the vestibule, and they will be welcomed into the Harmony chamber. That is the procedure.
Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. We have to step into a very, very short break, but our live and rolling coverage continues on the Axiom 4 mission as history has been scripted by Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla as he safely docks his spacecraft. Of course, this was more of an automated process, but right now, all eyes will be on the first visuals that come in. The first time an Indian is at the International Space Station. We'll get you more on that. Don't go anywhere.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है। विमल में गुलिस्तां के ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुलें तो जी लग जाए, और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की जुबान में खुद को ऐसे डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं? विमल, बोलो जुबान कैसी?
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
We hear it was obliteration. It was a virtual obliteration.
When you look at the Wiederaufbau, the reconstruction of the infrastructure is not impossible.
We hear it was obliteration. It was a virtual obliteration. When you take a look at the ground above, don't forget the flame is all underground. But everything above, if you look at the before and the after picture, everything above is burned black. The trees, everything. There's one building, but that's a building that sunk substantially into the granite, so that, you know, the fire goes right over it. It was, I believe it was total obliteration.
And I had received a letter from the Iranian foreign minister saying that they had taken protective measures already. They did not get into details into what that meant, but clearly that was the implicit meaning of that. So we can imagine that this material is there.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
I had some problems with Zelensky. You may have read about him. And it's been more difficult than other wars. I mean, look, we just ended a war in 12 days that was simmering for 30 years, frankly. We ended Rwanda and the Congo. It's coming to sign the documents. We've already signed basic documents, but they're coming, I think, to the White House on Friday. We ended Serbia was going to go at it. But maybe the most important of all, India and Pakistan. And that wasn't whether or not they may someday have nukes like we're talking about in the Middle East, like we're talking about with Israel and Iran. This is they have nuclear weapons. I ended that with a series of phone calls on trade. I said, look, if you're going to go fighting each other, it was getting very bad. You know how bad that last attack was. It was really bad. If you're going to go fighting each other, we're not doing any trade deal. No, you have to do a trade deal. I said, we're not doing any trade deal. And in fact, I had the general, who was very impressive. The general from Pakistan was in my office last week. You know, Prime Minister Modi is a great friend of mine. He's a great gentleman. He's a great man. And I got them to reason. I said, we're not doing a trade deal if you're going to fight. And if you're going to fight each other, we're not doing a trade deal. And you know what? They said, no, I want to do the trade deal. We stopped the nuclear war. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff.
European hospital in Khan Yunis. You can see the very big hole in the ground right in front of it. This is the entrance we opened for a very big command and control compound, Hamas command and control compound. Yet this is another example of the cynical use of Hamas, using civilians as human shields, using civilian infrastructure, hospitals again and again to find those infrastructure.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
विमल में गुलिस्तां की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की जुबान में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी। European hospital in Khan Yunis. You can see the very big hole in the ground right in front of it. This is the entrance we opened for a very big command and control compound, Hamas command and control compound. Yet this is another example